Hi, everybody. Welcome to Infinite
Hello.
Horizon. We are here. Everything is fine. We're a little bit on the late side, and that was on me because I had everything ready to go live, and then I guess I closed it, and I had to do it all over again right at the time we were supposed to be going live. So
And also, we spent a few minutes talking about zombies, so.
yeah, like Olivia wanted me to explain why people were saying The Walking Dead is good now, and
I needed the
I
context.
truly don't have an answer to that question, to be completely honest, because I'm not entirely convinced it is. Um, I just was giving my personal speculation as to why people think that. That's
It was
not
a good
important.
analysis.
Yeah, that's not important.
Even though
right
you
now.
hadn't done the reading, the analysis was still good.
uh, Gemini Lightning, hello. There's Wi-Fi in this hot as hell RV park, and I am here. Hello.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you for being here.
We're all melting.
Everybody's dying.
I'm melting
of
with you.
heat.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty warm in this room too.
Yeah. um, but yes, tonight we begin our season finale of Infinite Horizon, and that is going to be. It's gonna be a bittersweet thing. It's gonna be very exciting because we've done a whole last season. It'll be if everything goes according to plan, it'll have been 27 episodes, which is wild to think about. But unfortunately, it also means that we will not get to see you for quite some time. Except that that's not entirely true because unless you have been hiding under a rock, or rather, not paying attention to our sparse social media hype about it, we are going to be doing during that interim. We are going to be running a short Tales from the Loop game run by Caitlin.
Whoa.
And I'm very excited about it. It's gonna be very good. And you know what? Just for lulz, because it's still here, I'm gonna throw up the graphic because it's there.
Yeah.
It's still
It's
there.
gonna be so sick.
Woo.
I'm so excited about this.
Look at my graphic design.
Graphic design is literally her passion.
Graphic design is my burden.
Yeah, no, Caitlin loves
Oh,
graphic
no.
design. It's
I
literally
know,
what she
that's the
does.
better
it's
way.
her favorite pastime. It's like
It's her favorite hobby.
It's gonna be cool. It's role playing in the 80s that never was, so get hyped. There's gonna be robots, and that's all I'll tell you.
yeah,
Ooh.
I wasn't around. I don't know. It could have been like that.
yeah. None of us
True.
know.
And I just want to say, I think we have like dates and stuff set, and we're gonna be rolling out cast announcements the week of the 9th
Yeah,
The
on
9th?
the 9th is when patrons will
for
get
patrons
patrons
and also subs.
yeah, patrons and Twitch subscribers will
Ooh.
actually get on the same day. We'll get cast announcement on that
Yeah.
September 9th.
So great time to subscribe. If you want that a week early, and then the following week it'll go out to the rest of the public. But
Yes.
if you want to get in on the cast, trust me, it's the crew we have is very, very
I'm
cool.
so excited.
Mhm.
It's great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a time.
I just remembered. Then I got excited.
Yep.
I was like,
Me
who?
too.
Oh yeah.
Wait, who? Oh yeah.
That's right.
It's I'm very
So
very
sick.
excited for all of this. So yeah, we will be rolling out those.
It's just me and a couple sock puppets.
It's just it's just
We're
Caitlin
just
a couple
all humoring Caitlin for a little while.
They're hyping me up. Me and my.
Yeah.
It's not an RPG. It's just my new sock puppet show.
Yeah, it's Caitlin.
There are a
sock
couple
puppets,
cameras, and it's just all of us on screen.
sock
Love
puppets,
it.
and also Colette intermittently
And yeah. Mm-hmm.
as she
Okay,
goes.
stop. This sounds like a great concept.
That could go viral.
She's
yeah.
got everything the internet loves: cats,
Socks.
socks.
Wow, we've been going on.
Things that are adjacent to me.
I
Gemini
think this
Lightning.
is the best intro we've ever done.
It is. Gemini Lightning asked an important question. I think this is very important.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this yet.
Which is when will Infinite Horizon be back? The answer to that is we're looking to be back. Hold on, I'm as I
I know. I always keep
check
forgetting
the
dates.
calendar. I'm a very visual person, and I have to see
know,
the
me too.
calendar. We're
It's
looking sometime. I think it's mid-October.
October 14th,
Yeah, that's
or is that no? That's the end
right. So it'll
of
It'll be
Feels really-
mid to late October. I'm not
The
willing
28th, I think, is when we're coming back.
Yeah. To finish the sentence that I was about to say,
Sorry.
I'm not willing to nail down a specific date yet.
The hypothetical return date.
Hypothetically, that's when it will happen. So yes, before 2021. Yeah, no, it's going to be like a few weeks of hiatus mostly. Not even
Perfect
hiatus.
time to
it's-
re-listen to the show.
I know, it's perfect time.
Yeah, it'll just be a short, very, very brief break, and then a short show, and then we're starting back up
Yeah,
again.
yeah. No, we're not gonna. No, aren't gonna go for a long break. So yeah, so we'll have. It's about. I think it's a total of like 8 weeks because we have a couple in between. It's something like that. It's something like 8 weeks. So.
I think it's 2 before, 1 or 2 after. So
It's actually more like 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not long. Is the point.
we'll let you know.
Yeah, we will let you know. So, yeah, I think those are the big things. This week, Ramblemancy, we are going to be talking about, as suggested by one of our wonderful mods, the inimitable Amethyst Cat Lady. We are going to be talking about the school setting, the school as a setting in stories and media. What do we like about it? Why do we do it? What's interesting about it? What can you do in those settings? So, like, that's what we're going to be talking about. And then Saturday, the day after that, we're going to be doing our Borderlands stream with Bree. So, yeah, that's kind of what the week looks like. So, I think that is everything. High School Music analysis, anyone? Well, we'll see. We'll see what we get to.
Only if I was there.
Yeah.
When my car had a tape deck, I recently got a new car. My old car had a 6-disc tape deck. The first and second slots were the 2 High School Musical soundtracks on CD, but the second
God,
one was first because it's
please.
better.
That's an interesting. That is definitely an argument that can be made.
The second one is better. Second soundtrack.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to get into tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon.
Don't ever let me and Olivia and Romance at the same time.
No, I
Yeah.
absolutely
that'd be
need
great.
that. I need that to happen. We'll talk later about that. Anyway, tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon begins at this exact moment at 6 p.m. sharp and not a minute later. All right, see you back in a second.
Someone say this is the end. We're surrounded, but we won't give in. No. Who will save us? Who will save us? Sometimes you gotta let go. Leave it up to the hero. Who will save us? Who will save us? When the truth's in the shadows. All hail to the heroes. They're gonna save us. Yeah, save us. Yeah, save us today.
And we're back. I had a bit of a giggle fit while the intro was going, and it only was made worse by the fact that I told Caitlin it needed to be over in like 3 seconds. So here we are.
This is a feedback loop. It's bad.
Okay. Well, here we are. We're back. We're back now. Bringing us in. Previously on Infinite Horizon. Caitlin, just do what Freeman does and like lower your chair all the way back.
I'll do a quick demonstration just in case anyone
Please
forgot.
do show us. Thank you. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It leaves nothing but my nose, and I didn't quite have enough room to pull that off.
Yeah. All right. Previously on Infinite Horizon. Well, after a whole series of events leading up to the rescue of a bunch of powered individuals from a Silverbrake vessel in transit to a conditioning facility where they would all undergo some kind of brainwashing so that they would be more used to the corpse. The crew of Awakener returned to Sulan. They put up their newly rescued charges in the very same warehouse that Wyre has her ship, and where Awakener has recently been birthed, and basically the crew set about just sort of making preparations for what came next. One of those things included Wyre informing all of them that she had been, over the last few years, laying down plans for building a much wider resistance, starting up little cells here and there, none of whom were in contact with each other, all of them being coordinated by Wyre, doing little bits here and there. But after their most recent bold move against the corpse, Wyre said that it was probably time for them to come out of hiding, seeing as how the corpse weren't going to be able to ignore this. It was a bit too direct of a strike to really be able to hide anymore. So, with that, Wyre had been putting into place some plans for a relocation since Sulan was no longer safe. So the plans were to begin packing and leave by the end of the week. During that time, there were a few conversations amongst the crew, what to do next. They met Abriel's sister, one of the people that they had gone to rescue, who was being held as sort of leverage against Abriel to basically manipulate the ship's doctor into basically betraying the crew of Awakener to the corpse. And there was a little bit of hint of flirtation, maybe, between her and Peach. But yeah, so then after that, Alma asked Peach to help her get her memories back, as she had decided that it was time, and she was willing to face whatever came with it. And which led to some of my favorite moments of last episode, which was essentially just a montage of scenes of Alma's last memories prior to becoming the first of the powered individuals, the first of her kind. And in those series of flashbacks revealed one pretty significant piece of information, which is that somewhere Silverbrake, going against every major galactic law, had somehow found a way to build their own conduit, the massive space rings that allow travel between near instantaneous travel between the regions of space. A feat which in and of itself is pretty significant, but the repercussions that it might have even more so. This is the kind of stuff that wars get fought over. And I think where we left off was with Peach and Bina and Alma setting off to inform Wyre of the new information that they have that could potentially impact everything that they are doing. So, with all of that, I believe that is where we come into tonight's episode. And what we'll do is I'm going to actually cut a little bit ahead to after you've already had the exposition dump with Wyre. We're going to come into that part of the conversation as the two of you, Peach and Bina, as well as Alma, made your way out of the apartment and out into the back alley, downstairs into where to the entrance to Wyre's hidey hole. And you basically proceeded to unload this information. Alma and Bina kind of cutting across each other, cross-talking incoherently before Peach at some point just sort of calms them down and then delivers a coherent recap of the whole thing.
It was
Um,
coherent to them. They knew what they were saying.
They did. Wyre.
Just two different ways of saying it. you know?
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Who knows? 3.
So as you're finishing up, Wyre just sort of staring down at the table in front of her between you, and she just sort of standing with her hands on it. She's just kind of looking down at it and looks back up at you and says, "Well, that's a lot to take in. Okay, I don't think..." She kind of looks around the room, which, as opposed to the last time you were here, is now pretty... There's a lot of boxes, a lot of things that are being put into crates, have been successfully put into crates while you've been here, or while you've been away. And she kind of glances around the room and says, "I don't know that this changes our immediate plans, but it's certainly something that's... We're gonna..." She looks at Alma and she says, "You have your memories back, right?" "Yeah." "Do you think you'd be able to find your way back to that location?" Alma shrugs and says, I'm getting them back. It's like they're unlocked, but I don't have all of them back. But maybe, yes. Very, very likely. Wyre nods, says, "Okay. We need to find that place. We need to figure out where it is. And then we need to figure out what the right move is as far as telling people or not telling people it."
If this isn't handled right, it could break out into a full-scale war.
Yeah. And the last time something of that scale broke out, I mean, none of us here remember it, but Peach, I'd be willing to bet that your parents probably remember. Or
Stories. The stories are not... They're not great.
Okay. Right now, I think it's important to focus on what we're doing right here, right now. Getting these people to safety. I'm going to spend some time this week... we can't keep them in the warehouse. 100 plus people in a warehouse is going to start drawing attention. I'll bring them here to the apartment complex. And they should be safe and inconspicuous, if not particularly comfortable.
There's room in the apartment?
Yeah, I own the whole building.
Okay, that checks out.
Well, I mean,
Of course.
I don't legally and technically I don't own the building. But
You own the building.
I own the building.
Neat.
There are actual tenants here, of course, because I needed to keep up appearances, but most of the apartments are empty. So there should be plenty of room. I'll do that right away. They are our focus right now, as well as getting us all to a secure location. Those are the important things that we need to worry about right now. After that, we can talk about this and figure out what, if anything, we can do.
How did they do something like that without anybody noticing? I mean, the amount of secrecy.
Galaxy's a pretty big place.
It is, and corporate space isn't overseen by anybody else.
If they don't want you looking, you're not looking.
My guess is that somebody somewhere has been hearing rumors of something, which might account for all the the unusual movements of shipments and troops that I've seen. But like I said, this isn't something that we can really focus on right now. We'll have to table this for later. Bina, is Awakener ready to leave as soon as possible?
Good to go.
Okay. I'm having my ship overhauled. It turns out if you don't leave for many years.
Oh, Wyre, no.
Yeah, I know. I just
Bina kind of takes a step in the direction that would be towards the garage. Like, I can.
it's
I
gonna
need
be it's
to look.
you won't
I
have
can
the
help.
you won't be able to do it in time. I need a whole crew for this, so I'm gonna have to take it to the docks, and we should be fine. But if you want to do some patchwork on it, maybe we can avoid it for at least a little while.
Yeah, well, maybe you can get it patched up at a place that isn't here.
If you can just get us limping out of here, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's the plan. And you won't have to worry about any of them being underfoot, since I'll be pulling them out of the warehouse. So.
Can we see if any of them have any technical skills? I can
If any of them
assemble a
do,
crew.
feel free to make use of them.
Cool.
If anybody's willing to help and has the skills, absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna start reaching out to some of the other cells, making sure that I'm. In addition to all this, I'm also trying to coordinate rendezvous locations. So ideally, we all get there at the same time, but these things almost never work out that way, especially if you're trying to fly under the radar. So, okay. Well, I guess we know what to do.
And you've confirmed all of these cells are legit. None of them are corporate plants or anything like that.
They're all people I've reached out to personally, and spent months vetting them. So
Okay. Figured I'd just ask.
no, it's important to do our due diligence. All right, then we'll get started, and I'll get started now. Bina, here, and she hands you she pulls up on her console on her terminal, and she swipes it over. She says, "I've just sent you the access codes to my ship if you want to get started as soon as possible."
Got the key fob. Let's go.
She looks up. She says, "Peach, do you mind sticking around for just a second?"
Of course, whatever you need, Wyre.
All right, so
I'm running to the garage.
yeah. As soon as Bina leaves the room, Wyre just kind of stands in front of the screen that she indicated, one of the few that's still active, just arms crossed, looking up at it. And she's silent for a few minutes. And she looks up at it and then turns to you and says, "This has been a monumental effort on my part over the last several years." And she gestures to the screen. You can see now what you kind of really weren't paying attention to before, but now you're looking and you're seeing basically what looks like a galaxy map of the different, with a bunch of different dots. Some of them are red, some of them are orange, and some of them are yellow, and they're just sort of scattered around. Probably about a dozen in total. She says, coordinating all these people, making sure that they had the information to keep themselves safe, to make a difference. I really never thought we'd actually get here to this point. I mean, I knew I'd make it here, but I didn't. I guess I always assumed that by the time we got here,
We'd know more.
No, I just assumed that I'd be the only one left standing by this point.
Well, I hope we've taught you to be a little bit more optimistic.
Never.
Well,
That's
I mean, it's been a lot of years of you working solo in the dark.
yeah.
Probably pretty scary to be coming out of the shadows.
A little bit. That's one word for it. I was thinking about our conversation yesterday when you came back. I'm not. I can do this. And she points to the screen and she says, I can coordinate data. I can make sure different people have information that's relevant to them. I can even make their way a little easier, but this is going to change. All of these people are going to be coming to the same place to fight this fight, and they're going to be expecting somebody to lead them, and I've guided them, but it's like I said, I'm not a people person. They need somebody to inspire them, somebody to lead them, and that's not me. I think it should be you. I mean, I'm not going to make you do it, but I honestly can't think of anybody else better suited to this.
I'm just happy to be considered. I mean, we'll have to see who all the players are, but
yeah,
you know me, I'm not too happy letting everybody else call the shots. So
yeah.
I don't know if I could always make the right decision. I kind of, but I'll try to look out for everybody. And
that's what they need.
I don't know. I hope everybody who is coming is going to be okay fighting the way that we fight. But
I'm not going to lie. They're going to be, some of them, you're going to have some hard cases. Some of them are going to be hard to win over. You'll have to work. You'll have to work to win them over.
I like to think I have a winning personality.
A lot of these people have spent years relying on nobody but themselves to survive. It's going to be a learning curve for everybody. And they're not always going to play nice. If you do this, your first job is going to be first and foremost to make sure that all these people work together. And maybe it's just me talking from my perspective, knowing that I wouldn't be able to do it, but it's not going to be easy.
You know, I do have some experience with difficult people. I think the main thing is once you bring all these people together and we show them that we're all here fighting for the same cause, and we show them that, and we show them that we're doing this because we care about people and not because we just want to see the corpse burn, but because the corpse are wrong. And I think if you have that belief, then I mean, that's a powerful message.
Well, I think you're right. You have the fact is you have the leadership experience. You have the on the ground experience of, and I told you when you first came on, I told you that I felt that we could be a symbol to people. And since then I've gotten to know all of you, and I think that for nobody is that more true than it is for you.
Wyre, I think that we have to leave it up to everybody, but I mean, I'm happy to step up, and I would hate to see anybody hurt. And whatever I can do to make people not hurt.
Think it over. We still have some time before any decisions have to be made.
Okay. I know no one likes to be the one in charge, so if it has to be me, it has to be me.
I think only the wrong people want to be the ones in charge.
Yeah. Speaking of which, how are you working on this whole discreet phone call visit situation?
To tell you the truth, I haven't really put a lot of work into it yet.
Okay.
It might be one of those things that has to wait until we're clear of this place.
Okay. I just think that we will need all of the allies we can muster, and I think that if I swing this right, it could be a pretty powerful ally at our back to have the governmental support from the Commonwealth, even it's a smaller degree.
If we could swing that would be huge. That would Yeah.
So
I'll work on it.
okay. I could try to make a visit in another way, but I don't know if it would work.
Right.
But I'll try it out. You try it out. We'll brainstorm, reconvene. I'll bring pizza, group project style.
All right. And Peach,
Yeah.
Whatever you decide, I'm not backing down from any of this. You'll have me by your side if you choose to do this.
I don't think I could do it without you, Wyre.
We definitely agree on that. All right, go on, get out of here. I've got some packing to do.
You don't want to hang out with me more? Just all business talk? Okay. And I'll go and I'll leave Wyre by herself.
You as you're making your way out, you actually pass the professor who's coming in. He says, "Oh, you're back. Good to see you." Yes.
Oh, Professor, I don't take this the wrong way, but I almost forgot you were on board.
Yes, well, I do tend to get lost in my studies a little bit. This artifact is quite fascinating, and now I'm being informed that we are going to be moving it again, which, I mean, I suppose if it must be done, it must be done, but I must say this is rather disruptive to my studies.
Well, and have you discovered anything particularly interesting?
Well, it's funny that... No, I haven't. No, not yet.
No, nothing about it in histories or some different religious texts or anything.
Well, no. I'm having rather a bit of difficulty getting any access to academic sources that I had when I was back at the university. They're rather thorough about shutting people out once you're out.
I'm sure Wyre could help you with that.
Yes, I haven't really wanted to bother her, but she's been rather busy, and if I'm being completely honest, a little bit intimidating. And
do you want me to ask her for you?
It's
I'm sure it would take her like 1 minute.
You are probably correct. I don't worry yourself about this. I will handle it. But thank you. Your encouragement shall be enough for me at the moment.
Okay, well, good luck researching.
Yes, of course, and good luck with. What is it that we're on to now?
Just saving the galaxy.
Right. Yes, that. Good luck with that.
Okay.
I shall be.
Definitely will need it.
I will be helping in whatever way I can, although I'm not sure what help exactly I can offer. But whatever you need, I am here and happy to help.
Great. Go on with your business. I have a couple things to go take care of.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and go before the professor talks to me for another 45
Yeah,
minutes.
he like starts going and he's like, well, it's actually quite fascinating because the some of the text that I'm looking for delve really into okay, right, sorry, yes, of course, you are busy, and he just goes
No,
back to
all
his-
very interesting. All very interesting. I just really need to go help Mason with finding some more whiskey, and I'm gonna
He's not listening to you anymore. He's already like he's continued what he was his
not
like
my best excuse.
spiel to you. He's continued it on his own, like walking down the stairs, now talking to himself and continuing it. All right. So speaking of Mason, let's cut on over to Mason, who
What's
at this
that
point.
dude up to?
So, Mason, you've spent the better part of the last 2 hours on the receiving end of play-by-play, like watching some championship lift games, that is complete with constant pausing and color commentary by Bowen Eastman, one of the rescued individuals, who is heavily featured in all of these clips as they are basically his greatest hits, some of his greatest plays, and he is dead set on breaking down every single one of them for you. You are reaching a point. You are reaching a breaking point as you're watching this. You are quickly reaching the breaking point. As you're sitting there, you look at this guy and you start thinking to yourself, how much force would it take to knock this guy out right now? And you start having those thoughts cross your mind right as you hear movement behind you, and you turn to see the Anzalonian woman, Solar. She steps in and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Am I interrupting?"
Oh, thank you. You came just in time.
She says,
What's up?
"Oh, I just came to find. I'm sorry. What was your name again?" He says, "Bowen Eastman." And she says, "Right. Sorry. Bowen, because we just got a communication from Wyre that we're to be moved to an apartment complex."
Great. That's awesome. I mean, sincerely.
She said that you would know how to get there, and that you could help us. You could lead us there.
Absolutely. After you, your name, sorry.
Silar.
Solar. Good to meet you. All right, let's go.
Yeah. And Bowen says, "Well, we were just getting to the. All right."
Honestly, kid, I don't care. Just go.
you say that, and he for a moment his chest puffs up, and then he kind of just deflates and takes removes the data disk. And he says, I'll just transfer them over to your ship's computer so you can watch them yourself later.
Out.
And,
Out.
Yeah. Okay. And he pockets it, and he walks out kind of huffily, and she
pull out
turns
the flask.
she turns and looks at you and raises her eyebrows and goes, "Wow, he certainly is a personality."
It'll change. It's gonna have to. Otherwise, he's gonna end up dead.
Her face falls at that, and she says, "Right. Should we go?"
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, you spend some time rounding up the the rescued folks. Patch and actually Sedona joining you as they
Before all of the people leave,
yeah.
can Bina show up and just be like all four arms in the air and be like, "Does anybody want to help me fix a ship?" She just points at random people who maybe, I don't know, she's not even gonna try to guess who might be a mechanic.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let me refer. I think I have somebody in mind, so I'm gonna refer to. Oh, before I forget again. So Bowen and Solar, the powered NPCs. I made a mention of this on the Discord the other day after the fact. but these are NPCs that were created by our patron writers room, which is not the first contribution that that the Patreon writers room has made. It's just the first one that has actually the first one to show up on stream. So, yeah.
Thanks, patrons.
Thanks, patrons. Yeah.
I'm sure Mason really appreciates Bowen's character. I'm sure he's really. I love it.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been looking forward to this one so much, to that character, ever since he was made. Okay.
Give me some friends, patrons. Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. There's somebody in particular I've got right here. Hold on. You actually see there's a Lumnian man who steps up, kind of one of the large sort of gray aliens, humanoid, other than their larger proportions. Standing this one in particular, standing at about 7.5 feet tall. It has a set of like bone ridges that go right down along, following his cheekbones, and then framing kind of his going back out, for almost looking like mutton chops in a way, right? Like kind of just with the pattern, and also one of the rare types of Lemnians who to actually have like hair on his head. He has it styled in a full mohawk.
Nice.
He's wearing a lab coat, and he's kind of currently fiddling with something in his left hand as he looks over at you. Says, "Yes, I think I might be able to assist you."
Excellent. Everybody else, we can make a whole crew. I have a couple people who might help, but it's a ship that needs a rush patch job. So
you kind of look around, you glance around, you see like one or two other people just sort of raise their hand, which is with a little bit of like one or two people has a little bit of experience, kind of tinkering, and yeah.
I will take you to your apartment afterwards, but we got to get the ship moving. It's apparently been sitting here. She's walking towards you. It's been sitting around for like years, and it hasn't had any maintenance. And she's just like lamenting. It's just walking and making them follow her.
Yeah. You make your way over and over to the ship.
I'm also gonna send Jade just a little message. Just be like, "Hey, we're doing patch job on Wyre's ship. Join if you're feeling up for it." And
okay.
Send that to him.
You don't get an immediate response from him.
Yeah.
Which is unusual for Jade, because usually he's like immediately on top of the responses.
It's okay. I'm not anticipating him wanting to join, but I was gonna extend the offer.
The Lumnian man, as you're walking along, is just sort of clicking something. You can hear sort of a clicking and beeping as he's fidgeting, and you glance over and you see that he has a strange device in his hand, and as you're looking at it, he's kind of like fiddling with it idly, not even really looking at it. And you're watching it, and it occurs to you that what you're looking at is some variety of puzzle cube that you've never seen before. And as he's going, you can see he's fiddling with it like very fast. He is going like very fast. Like if you've ever seen like the people like solving Rubik's cubes in like the record kind of, that's basically what this looks like. And then all of a sudden you hear like a series of small beeps, just sort of like a beep 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 beep, and then he just sort of lets out kind of a quick grunt of frustration. You watch in amazement as the puzzle cube literally like starts coming apart and rearranging itself.
Oh. Was that like a correct thing, or is he doing this to try to complete it, or is he fidgeting? Basically, is what I want to ask.
It honestly seems to be a bit of both.
Cool.
And you see as he finishes it, it like basically rearranges. What it does is it like little lights on it just flash red as it in time with the beeping, and then it just sort of rearranges, and you can. He's sort of following your gaze as you're looking at it. He looks over it and he says, "It is a puzzle cube of my own design."
Ooh, one of a kind. And she's kind of gonna take a look at it.
It is damn nigh impossible to solve if I do say so myself. It will. I programmed the whole thing to rearrange itself every once after varying intervals, so as to challenge myself. As of yet, I have only completed it successfully one time.
That's pretty impressive. She's kind of watching it do his thing, and then she's gonna be like, "Oh," and she's gonna turn and like face him. She's like, "Hi, Bina Oba, nice to meet you." And she's like, we'll introduce the ship as they're walking, And then we'll ask. It's gonna basically
Yeah.
wants to know that one of their names.
Yeah,
too.
they all introduce themselves. The others.
Lumney and Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, his
he's sort of the last one. He says, most folks refer to me as Balric. He says, but I prefer going by the inevitable.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It is what I ask my colleagues in the lab to call me, and therefore my preferred nomenclature.
Perfect. I can spell. Cool. All right. Excellent.
Says, I am a specialist in various fields. I hold several degrees in theoretical physics by alone.
Cool as hell.
Not to mention, I am also, forgive me, I am just listing my qualifications to assist on this project.
Mhm.
I am also a world-class puzzle solver and all-around damn genius.
I'm so excited to work with you.
He nods and then just falls into step, continues to fidget with the puzzle cube.
Love this. I think she's gonna be like, I've never worked with a genius before. And she pull out her tool belt.
All right,
And we'll get to work.
sounds good. All right.
She's gonna moan the whole time about how dusty and how like sad this ship is that it hasn't
I'm just
been
imagining
flown.
it as like at some point in the middle of the patch job, Bina just like irritatedly just like calls up Wires like, how dare you, and just like,
Yeah, but just like calls and Wires like before she can even say hello. He's like, okay, first of all, I might have to break up a friendship over this. I cannot believe you would do this to a piece of equipment this beautiful. And like yeah, she goes off at least once. But I think there are a couple times she uncovers something just particularly like sad and decrepit and just like lays down for a second and goes, I'm so sorry. Like
It's like kitchen nightmare, like ship nightmare.
Oh.
yeah. Bina Oba
Yeah,
is the Gordon Ramsay of
Yeah.
spaceships.
There's just like a space rat scuttling around, and it's like the state that this is in.
The four-armed idiot sandwich.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh man, that's
Oh,
a great
gosh.
image.
God. Yeah. So we do that.
Listen, if any fan artists are watching this and feel like memeing, that's a perfect one to do, the four-armed idiot sandwich that
What are you? God, Bina to Wire. What are you?
Gold Wire.
All right. Just holding
Wire
like
goes,
some tech,
if I tell
holding
you-
tech
if I
instead
s-
of sandwich, like instead of bread,
Yes.
just holding tech.
Just like burnt out, like
Yeah.
things that don't go out unless they're not used. What are you? And she goes, if I say idiot sandwich, will you please leave my room? Yes.
I love everything about that. All right.
Where
Anyway.
are the power couplings?
Yep. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Love the energy tonight, folks. How's it going?
All right. So,
Uh,
Mason, you meanwhile begin leading the crew. Actually, as you're gathering them together, Wire sends you a set of specific instructions via like sort of text-based instructions, essentially telling you to take them in groups so that they are less
Oh, yeah.
conspicuous and just like and then giving you directions to specific apartments within the building, within the apartment complex. And over the course of the next several hours, you manage to get several groups shuttled back and forth and settle them in about, I'd say it'd probably take about 6 of the apartments to get them all, and they're pretty cramped in there. But I mean, it's not uncomfortable. It's just, let's just say that it's as you're looking around these apartments and the number of people that are in each of them, Mason would probably conclude that it's best that this is just a temporary arrangement.
mhm.
So, yeah. Leaving the last one, Silar just sort of says, you can see her as you're leaving people in the last one. She comes out of another one, out of hers. She says, "Hi, I was hoping I would still catch you. Do you have a second?"
Yes, I do.
Um, listen, I know that there's we're kind of wanted, I guess. I don't know. Or I guess we're kind of fugitives. And I know that that means that we've got to get to safety before anything else can happen. But I just wanted to say I know some people have decided to stay behind and help with the thing that you're doing, and I just wanted to make sure that you see that she's sort of hesitating. For a moment, she just says, "Okay, can I just be completely honest with you?"
I prefer that.
Okay, good. Some of the comments that you've made about this whole thing have a lot of people freaked out, and I agree it's a scary situation, and they should know what they're in for. But I just hope that you remember that these are people, and not only people, but a lot of them, the last thing they remember was living their lives. None of them are cut out for this. Yeah, I mean that's it. I just hope you'll remember that. Uh, I'm not going to be staying. I just wanted to make sure that for the people who do decide.
Yeah. No, I know that. I tend to forget. I get caught up in old habits. But
You military?
I was, but those aren't even the habits I'm talking about.
I thought you might have been. My dad, he was military. You have a some of your posture. It reminds me of him. My brother too, actually.
Yeah, it's not something you can drop. Although I've tried.
That's what my brother used to say.
Sounds like a smart man.
He was. Anyway, thanks for hearing me out.
Thanks for reminding me.
Okay. Good luck. With.
We'll need it.
Yeah.
I kind of just tip my hat and kind of bow.
Mm-hmm.
Bow out.
Yeah. You can hear as you're leaving. You hear the door to the apartment open and close again.
Yep. Tip. Tips fedora.
Resistance. Okay, so I'll tell you what. We're gonna cut to. Actually, is there anything actually that reminds me? Is there anything that you all want to do during this time as you're preparing?
Bina just goes nuts fixing the ship. That's not really it.
Yeah.
She hasn't gotten to do this stuff in a while.
Yeah, I would say that Alma, who probably joined you on the way back, pretty much
was probably there for my hold on.
Yeah, she was pretty silent the whole way back. Like you could tell she was very much lost in her own newly regained memories and thoughts about that. But she jumps in and lends a hand as much as she can, saying at one point, I mean, it's not Awakener, but I mean, I've learned a lot from watching you and from Awakener. So
yeah, and I mean, you can kind of be keyed into what it needs, right? A little bit.
If I could establish a remote connection from Awakener, I might be able to do it.
Ooh.
I'll see if actually, that's not a bad idea. let me see if I can do
Check
that.
it out.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's basically how that goes. She
Tina's like on her back underneath something, like, yeah, do it, and then pushes her back underneath it.
Yeah. And you basically she continues sitting there like on her terminal, basically like establishing a wireless connection between Awakener and Wyre's vessel, which actually, in very typical Wyre form, does not have a name.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How did she get away with that? You need you need an identification to dash in.
know how she got away with that?
It does have an identification, but it's
identification.
literally just a
Like a
number.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just a
okay.
serial number, basically.
I was like, did she just hack it so she didn't have to come up with a name?
no,
like
it's
ultimate petty.
No, it's a serial number. Is what it's still got like its stock serial codes and stuff like that. So
She's never made her own username.
it's just user password.
Oh my god.
yeah. So in very
User 1.
very typical Wyre
She's
fashion.
a Twitter bot.
Oh God.
She's
Yeah.
one of those people who like is a real account, but like they just never put a profile picture and so
Yeah.
everyone thinks they're a bot.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh.
Anyway,
Mason's gonna pick up some things on the way back.
Sure.
Just some masony things.
that's fair.
A
Actually,
whole carton of cigarettes.
that sounds good. All right. Yeah,
if
Peach.
if people are all since people have heard that we're moving and like I'm sure all of our guests are very freaked out, I'm gonna go and just kind of talk to them and give them as much info as I have and just kind of calm some nerves.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Tell you what. Actually, I'm gonna let's make that a roll. How about that?
Sure.
It's gonna be an intellect roll. It's not gonna be a high difficulty at all. We're gonna call this one a difficulty 3.
Okay, I'm specialized in pleasant social interactions.
All right. So that drops it down to a 1.
And I have a free level of effort.
All right, so-
it's yeah.
Do you want to roll anyway?
I will just
Okay,
for fun.
Sure.
18.
Ooh,
Okay.
first roll in
Glad
a
I-
hot minute too.
Glad I rolled.
Not bad. Not bad. Yeah. Yeah. So you succeed. I mean, they're like, you go kind of door to door and just sort of talk to the different apartments. Kind of, you've gotten the information from Wyre to knowing which apartments they're all in.
I would have brought some kind of like big crate of like food to bring to each, like, I don't know, freshly baked cookies or like yeah.
Went
I
out and
can't-
got some goods from the walking market. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely bought. I don't think Peach is a great baker.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, and you kind of just go like door to door from the apartments, just sort of talking through, kind of almost holding like small, like miniature town hall meetings in each of the apartment living
Oh my
rooms.
gosh.
Like just sort of nodding, listening to people's questions and their concerns, and just sort of listening to what they have to say and reassuring them. And yeah, I mean, there's a few of them who are that you don't think that they're really hearing you. There's a few of them who just seem like they're either, some of them are just of those, some of them are just, it's very clear that they're just in full denial of their situation.
Mm-hmm.
Others are just sort of like that kind of holdout, like, who the hell is this, like, to tell me what to, right, like that kind of attitude. They don't speak up or say anything, but you can tell just sort of from their demeanor, their bearing. But for the most part, you get you get through to people, and while you have some holdouts and you didn't reach everybody, you also know that you have prevented, you have eased a lot of them, and you've made the chances of any sort of like mass panic significantly lower. Right.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, like they were all pretty anxious before, and while that anxiety is not gone, you've managed to essentially convince them that people know what they're doing and that they are in good hands.
Okay.
And while
good.
the anxiety hasn't gone away, that seems to be enough for them. And for the most part, they're just like, the most negative response that you get from anybody is just somebody saying like, okay, well, I guess we'll just wait here until we're ready then, like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like more of an exasperated response than anything, like an exasperated resignation.
Yeah. At least you now have snacks.
Yeah. All right. So, anything else anybody wants to do before we move on? Okay.
I don't hear from Jade at all during our overhaul.
You do eventually, and he basically just responds saying, "Can you manage without me?"
Mhm.
And then he just responds, "Just okay. Sorry."
No worries. See you later. I don't know, something like that.
Does Jade know the plan of what's going on? Have we been like looping him in, or does he have no idea what we're doing? Does he know any of the things that we know?
I don't
I
know.
mean,
That's
I assume like Sedona's been in on everything, and I'm assuming
Okay, yeah.
he's talking to Sedona.
I was just
But-
wondering. I was like, is Jade gonna be like shook when we just arrive at a new base? Like,
I mean, Bina would probably be checking in. She's
Okay.
not like, he doesn't seem like he necessarily wants to speak with her, but I think she'd probably ask Sedona if Sedona's been talking to
she
him.
hasn't been.
Mhm.
She hasn't been.
Mm-mm.
Shit.
okay, if no one has like, if he hasn't emerged in a while, I know I just had a scene, but I would love to go
Do
check
it,
on
yeah.
Jade. I
Please
just,
do. I tried and I don't think I'm what he needs.
I think, yeah, I think if at like this point Jade still hasn't emerged and we've made all these plans and like learned all these things, I would definitely go and talk to Jade.
That sounds good. All right, so we'll cut to then you standing outside his door, just sort of knock very
Bring
gently.
him dinner, please.
Yeah, definitely coming with dinner and like probably some sweets still left over.
Yeah.
Got too
Um,
many.
The door slides open, and you just see Jade like laying in bed, in his bed, just sort of fiddling with some piece of tech. Just sort of he's got it over his holding it over his face as he's laying down, just sort of like fiddling with it.
Room service.
He looks over at you and just sort of gives you kind of a weak smile. Just says, "Thanks."
I got these from outside, so I didn't bake them myself, so they should be great.
He sits up and sets the piece of tech on his bedside table. He just looks up at you and says, "Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I wanted to hand deliver, and also I know you've been kind of busy in here, but I just wanted to make sure that you are still in the loop with everything we're doing. I mean, you're a really valuable part of our team, and I didn't want you to be left out.
Yeah, thanks. Sure."
All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and kind of briefly summarize basically everything that we've learned, like to him. Like I want him to. I don't know about the. I don't think I'm gonna tell him about the corporate. What's sorry, I'm
conduit?
blanking on the word
Conduit?
right now. Conduit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I totally just forgot the word for conduit right there. I don't know if. No, I don't know. I don't want to freak him out, so I think I might leave that detail out for
Okay.
right now. But everything else, I'm gonna kind of like catch him up to speed on, like with kind of Alma got her memories back. Like these are all the things that have been going on. Like we're moving all the people and all that stuff.
The only time he really seems to show any kind of like slightly heightened interest is when you mention about Alma having her memories back. He just sort of sits up, like he's mostly not making eye contact with you as you're talking. He's just kind of sitting there, like making a show of eating, probably for your benefit.
Yeah.
And
That's another reason I wanted to watch him.
Yeah, but then when you say that, he looks up and like makes eye contact with you, and then just sort of smiles just a little bit, and then goes back to.
Yeah. You know, I do admit I had an ulterior motive in coming here.
He nods, says, "I kind of figured you might have."
Yeah, I wanted to ask you for some advice.
He looks genuinely taken aback by that as he looks at you. Says, "Me? What do you need advice from me for?"
Back when we were on that big ol' mission, I made some really stupid calls, and now Wyre wants me to, I don't know, be the face, the leader, the inspiration for all these people that we're bringing together. And I don't know, you've always looked at me like I'm, I don't know, on fire or something when I walk in. You've always been just, I don't know, you've always held me in such high esteem. And I just wanted to ask you if you thought I could do it.
Well,
Even after everything that happened, would you follow me into the next mission? Or not? It's okay if the answer's no.
well, I would. But if you But it would make sense if you didn't want to.
You know, it's kind of funny because I never questioned that I would, you know, lead people. I kind of was born to, raised and taught to do that. But it's different when it's your choice. And I'm glad that you think that I could do it. And Jade, you're not the only one that was scared out of their mind when we were out there. Okay. We were all scared. We all, at least I can tell you, I lost a lot when we were out there. Do you know that mimic who's been chasing us?
Yeah.
I found out that he is my brother Vix. There is so much that we still have to do. And it's okay if you need some time to figure yourself out, but whenever you're ready or whenever you're not ready, we're not gonna just leave you here. We're with you. You're with us. You're part of our team.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for the food.
Yeah, thanks for your advice. Or I guess for, I don't know, listening, I guess. Okay, well, we are going to be packing up a lot of stuff. So if you want to break and want to lift some heavy things, I'm sure Wyre and all of us could use some help.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be ready to help Alma prep the ship whenever we're ready.
Okay. And Jade, if you want to talk to anybody, we have a lot of people on the ship. You have my charming appeal. You have Bina's amazing energy, lots of arms to hand you things. And you have Mason to sit there and just nod politely. So you really have any form that you would want. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave.
Okay. Yeah.
I just wanted him to be in the loop and feel all included.
Sounds good.
Thank God someone who had a night's rest talked to him.
So
I don't like that Jade hasn't been able to contribute to our conversations. I'm like, I need him to know what's up.
yeah.
Miss that boy.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut us to the end of that particular day, as you're all back in the apartment. and the professor has actually joined you this particular evening, and he and Olam are kind of at the end of the table, just engaged in like intense discussion about various academic theories, but also just kind of the state of academia at like in some of like the Commonwealth universities, and just sort of going on off on this stuff, like in a way that most of you listening to it are just not following it. It's just a lot of either it is very specific knowledge that you don't have, or it is references to specific places and people within the world of academia that you're just like, who?
I can feel their enthusiasm, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's probably the most during that conversation. It's probably the most that you've seen either of them like smile, as they're just like genuinely enjoying the company of another academic, just sort of like going back and forth. And yeah, so this particular evening, Zaya is notably absent, as according to Wyre, she is out making preparations, grabbing supplies, things like that, basically just being kept extremely busy with prep work. Abriel and her sister have basically hung around. They've hung around the apartment, and during the day they've spent the day mostly just sort of walking around Sulan, walking the streets of Sulan, and just together and talking. But they are returned this evening. And Bina, it's a moment as you are. I'm going to say that Bina and Mason, the two of you, are just kind of standing in the kitchen area, looking towards the dining and living room, looking in that direction, just sort of seeing everybody splayed out around the room. Some of them at the table eating a cup. Abriel and her sister seated at one of the couches, just sort of Abriel with her arm around her little sister, and the two of them just like talking and laughing. Patch just sort of seated kind of in the corner, just sort of watching all of this happening, just examining all of it.
It's gotta observe.
Mm-hmm.
They've gotta observe.
Yeah. And then Bina, you find your attention sort of drawn to Sedona, who is just kind of she's sort of seated on the fringe of everybody else, which is not unusual, but usually she's at least kind of politely listening to people, if not actually engaging in conversation. But today, she is not looking at anyone or anything in particular. She's just kind of sitting with food in her lap, just sort of like a plate of food in her lap, just sort of eating it very slowly.
What's the vibe? What's the mood here?
It's difficult, but it sort of feels like a whole complicated mix of things. It feels like, first and foremost, just sort of anxiety.
Oh, she's got a lot of things in her brain, huh?
Yeah, mixed with sort of some kind of sadness that you can't really pinpoint the source of. And in and amongst all that, there is a sort of resigned, forlorn feeling. That's sort of it's a lot more subtle, but it's in there. And you sense it. And the more you think about it, the more you feel this, the more you start realizing that even though that's kind of just under the surface of everything else, it is probably the primary thing that is whatever is currently on her mind. That's the emotion that is the most connected to the thing that she is concerned with at the moment. That sort of forlorn resignation.
Bina's gonna put down whatever fucking concoction she's working on in the kitchen. Probably a weird smoothie. I'm gonna say that's what it was. And she's gonna kind of like mid-task exit it and just go sit down next to her I'm assuming on like a sofa or chairs or something, and just kind of like we'll just come up and like sit
Yeah.
down next to her,
As you sit
and just
down-
kind of.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just kind of like be with her. If she engages, then I will. If not, we'll sit for a bit before I try to.
Sure. Yeah, when you sit down, she looks up at you and just sort of smiles and says, "Hi."
Hi.
Oh, sorry. Was I loud?
No,
Okay.
I just worried about you.
Oh. Yeah.
Anything I can do?
Remember when we were talking when Taeyeon was here?
Mm.
And I said that sometimes I was going to have to tell you things and you were just going to have to trust me?
Mhm.
This is one of the other situations where I can't tell you anything and you just kind of have to trust me.
That makes sense. Action equal opposite reaction. Gotta get both.
It's frustrating not being able to change anything myself. I mean, I can nudge, but if I do anything to bring about specific outcomes, if I try to do that, I mean, I can see things that are going to happen, and I can see how events are likely to affect other events, which in turn lead to bigger events, but I don't always know. Sometimes it's the event, and sometimes it's the intention behind the event that matters, and I can't predict that one. I can't predict intention. And so I never know what's important for me to act on and what's important for me not to. I just kind of have to guess. Mostly that means I'm just quiet all the time.
It's a lot to carry on your shoulders by yourself.
And it's not
I'm
with,
not suggesting you share, but I'm just.
it's not
I
with
understand.
everything. I mean, it doesn't happen with everything. Just
But it happens.
yeah.
Do you want to go do something fun?
Like what?
Did you ever get to go do donuts with us?
Mm-mm.
Do you want to go get ice cream and go do donuts in a parking lot?
She kind of looks around the room and just says, "Okay."
Okay. And they're gonna go do something stupid in the middle of the night on Sulan.
Yes, they should go bowling.
Yeah, Bina's gonna take her on a late night adventure. They're gonna
Sounds good.
go for a walk. She's gonna buy her some sweet treats in the middle of the night, and then they're gonna go take the hovercraft out for a spin and maybe go watch.
Yes.
Can we get on the outside? Can we get on the outside the surface?
Mm-mm. Nope. That's
Okay.
that's kind of like sort of a restricted zone. Like it's mostly because it's
That's
like
fair.
not safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because like any gravity the artificial gravity only affects the inside of the asteroid.
Mm-hmm. Then the way we get into, I'm assuming there's like a port somewhere, some
Yeah, there's a
exit.
huge tunnel essentially through the crust of the asteroid that allows for some of the larger transports to come in, like the cargo ships and stuff like that to come in and out.
Cool.
So,
We're gonna
yeah.
at some point end up parked there to watch ships come through because that's a little bit of a light show. It's not a starry sky, but it's a little bit of a light show because some
Yeah.
people have some weird mods, and if you're gonna see weird mods, I feel like Sulan is the place you're gonna see them.
Absolutely.
And Bina's just gonna kind of give her a distraction from it. There's a thing she can't do anything about, so at least she can do is help her not think about it.
There's a moment where you feel something kind of inscrutable from Sedona. Like it's an emotion, but also not really. It's really hard for you to parse. The best way to explain it is kind of like it's like a solidifying of understanding, kind of like, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
She has a moment.
Yeah, she has a moment. She just sort of sits
Yeah.
there, and then she looks at you, and then just sort of like looks at you for a moment, and then looks quickly away, back out the like the. Are you sitting in the hovercraft?
If it's comfortable. If it's not, we'll sit on top of it.
Comfortable enough, yeah. She just looks out the forward viewport and just sort of points to something. She says, "What's that?" And she, as you're pointing to it, as she's pointing to it, you follow her gaze, and you see that what she's pointing at is this big sort of it's a room that looks like it's built into the side of the tunnel. It's larger than other, like there are structures scattered throughout, but it's larger than the rest, and you can see where there's like scaffold and walkways that lead up to it and then from it. And there's huge windows in front of it that overlook the tunnel. And as she points it out, you look closely, and you realize that what she's pointing out is essentially like the flight control, like for the whole asteroid.
Oh. Central Command. It's the brain. It's the brain of the whole thing. And she's gonna kind of look at it. Look with her very impressive Bina eyes.
Yeah. What do your Orzai
What do your
eyes
Orzai
see?
Where's my eyes see?
Yeah. She.
God, that's a fun party trick. People point out things and she gives you a really
Yeah. It's like
impressive description of
fucking
things from
eagle
far
eye,
away.
just telescopic, like, yeah. Yeah. You actually, from here you can pretty easily see like figures moving around through the windows. You can see them moving. People working at consoles, and while you can see the like just sort of the shape of like mouths moving as they are like in constant communication with with ships that are incoming and outgoing. Yeah, as you're looking at it, it's a pretty impressive setup in there. Like,
I'll probably, while I'm looking, give her like a just like idle chatter about what I know about them and what I have working in them in the past, or the worst experience I'd had with one, like just really annoying, like people I had to deal with once.
yeah, like I could absolutely see you like telling her about a time when you were stuck in a containment because they were trying to catch a fugitive, and like the control, and you're like looking in there. Actually, interestingly enough, looking in this control room, you can actually see that they probably have a similar setup in there. That like at least as advanced as that particular time, and you're just sort of and she just sort of listens to you the whole time as you're going through explaining all this stuff, just kind of nodding. A couple of times it's weird. A couple of times you catch her like giving you sort of an odd look as you're going through this, going through like these explanations of past events. But
Anything tied to that? Just
Nope.
Just observing.
Yeah, they're strange and very unreadable looks, but you've kind of come to accept that that's going to be the case.
Yeah,
a lot of the time from
understandable.
Sedona. Yeah.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Yeah. But eventually you finish up your evening, and you can feel from her a sense of that same strange resoluteness that you'd felt before. It's still there, but it's not covered over by anxiety and things like that anymore. It's much more sort of like you can feel kind of a calmness from her.
Cool.
Yeah,
we head back at some point. I'm assuming
yeah.
Bina has a weird sleep schedule, but she's at least aware that other people sleep normally, and she
Yeah.
will take Sedona back at some point.
Yeah, as you're returning to the apartment, just outside, she turns and she just says, thank you.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for hanging out. I've been wanting to do that forever. You gave me a great excuse to do it.
I guess I never really... I don't know, I just try to stay out of everybody's way when we're doing things, and...
You don't have to. We like having you around.
I know. I guess just what I'm saying is I've never really felt like I was part of everything. I was kind of just that weird stowaway that you took in, but this was nice.
I'm glad. And Bina will kind of like 2-arm over the shoulders, kind of like, okay. And then, she's just like, anytime you let me know, and they'll go back in. And
When you think about it, we're all kind of weird.
I was gonna say, I was like, there's a lot. There's a
I was
lot of
like,
us.
we all like kind of stowed away accidentally by being kidnapped.
All right.
So
So, I think in our final scene before break, I want to we'll say it's the middle of the night. Actually, it's pretty close to the beginning of like the day cycle, here on Sulan. And Peach, you wake up, just kind of turn over and kind of look out the window from your apartment, that kind of set high up in the wall, where you can just barely catch the sight of the lines of traffic that are constant moving through the skyline, so to speak, of Sulan. And as you're looking, you're just kind of watching the cars pass, hoping to either fall back to sleep or come fully to wakefulness, whichever comes first. As you do that, you slowly become aware that you're not alone in this room. In fact, you're not in this room. As you turn kind of to face the other way, turn in your bed to face the other way, you realize that you're actually not even in your bed. You're standing, and you are looking across what appears to be a starscape. You're surrounded by it, in fact. You are just in space, with with nebula clouds of various colors that just sort of swirl around you. And you're standing on what appears to be a chunk of rock in space. And as you become aware of that, you realize that it starts moving, drawing you forward towards another large chunk of rock in the distance. One that, when you look at it, you realize that there is somebody standing on it. And as soon as you note that, you find yourself, rather than gradually moving towards it, you just find yourself standing there. And you see a figure, not in head to toe tactical gear, just from the shoulders down. He has his back to you. His hair's a little longer than you remember it. Worn long and kind of slicked back, kind of tucked back over his ears. Just hanging down below his jaw. As you stand watching him, he turns his head kind of over his shoulder and then turns fully around, and you see your brother, Vix, for the first time in months. Many months, almost a year, in fact. Although there's about 2 months of that you don't remember, but as you stand there looking at him, his eyes, very much like yours, gazing back at you. And he looks at you, says, I figured that you'd be here.
Vix, this is a little dramatic, don't you think?
Maybe.
What is his expression? Can I get a read on him?
His expression is, it's
like, is he like Like, yeah, like what am I seeing? What does he look?
You recognize him very clearly, but the thing that you're noticing is that if it wasn't for recognizing his features, you wouldn't recognize the man.
Yeah.
His typical jovial, almost mischievous expression is nowhere to be seen.
He's probably a lot buffer too. Like, honestly, he's probably like a lot bigger, like
a
just
little bit.
physically a little bit bigger.
Yeah, definitely. He seems to have put on some muscle since you saw him last. But
Yeah.
in addition to that, you can also see that there are sort of dark shadows under his eyes that you only ever saw him when he was at his. You only ever saw there when he was at his worst. As he just sort of watches you. There's something in his expression that almost makes you want to take an involuntary step back.
Yeah.
But he is just very almost expressionless, just watching you.
So, you knew you could find me here?
I figured it was time that we talked face to face.
Face to face.
Oh, as close as we're likely to get.
And I guess now that I taken off the mask, you're all ready to talk.
He doesn't answer you. He just watches.
Well, I always have time for you, you know. I kind of have been standing there like pretty contained, like trying not to, but at that point I think I just am gonna run forward and try to give him a hug.
Okay. You do it. You do so. You get there and you hug him. He doesn't reciprocate. He just sort of stands there stiffly as you do it. In fact, you can almost feel him stiffen up as you're doing it.
Having me so fucking worried.
He as you kind of release him and sort of take a step back to look at him, his head just sort of lowers. He looks back up at you and says, "I'm not here for reunions."
Can't blame me for making small talk. Why are you here, Vix?
I'm here to
Do they have a message? Sorry.
No, I'm here. I'm here because it's my job to find you, all of you. And it's taken me many, many months, but I did it finally. This doesn't have to go down ugly. All I need is just for you to meet me. Just you.
Meet you. Meet your friends.
Just me for now.
Is he telling the truth? Is he lying?
Do you want to make a roll to find out?
Yeah.
Okay. This will be an intellect roll. The difficulty on this one's going to be 5.
Okay. So, was this a pleasant social interaction? Would you say?
I'm not sure I would consider this that per se.
Okay, I was being pretty pleasant, I'd say.
Yeah, but it's more about the circumstances surrounding it than the actual interaction itself.
Yeah, okay, that's a totally fair point. Because I know him pretty well, does that help me at all?
I'll say you can treat that as an asset on this. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. because I've probably read through I've probably seen through many of his lies many times.
Mhm. Absolutely. Hell, you've helped him tell some of them.
Yeah, of course, for sure. Okay, so then that's down to 4, and I'm going to spend a few levels of effort.
All right.
Have a free one.
So, yeah, I have a free level of effort,
Mhm.
which knocks it down. But because I just took, I had enough XP, I now have a 4th level of effort. So, yeah, I'm gonna do all of that. I want to find out if he's lying. So there's no roll.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to know.
Okay.
I
Well
just want to know if
then.
he's lying.
Well then. In that case, here's what you get. He is watching you very calmly and expressionlessly. But what you originally took that look in his eye as something, as sort of like a harnessed aggression, you are now sort of seeing it for what it is. You're not sure if it's because your interpretation of the situation has changed, or if it's just that maybe there is a sort of a like a gap in the curtains, so to speak, that you're sort of seeing through suddenly. But what you see is an individual who is deeply, deeply conflicted and at war with himself.
Mm-hmm.
You sense confusion, like just of the kind that just a deep inner turmoil. You are seeing desperation, but in addition to all that, you can see that he's still not fully your brother.
Mm-hmm.
But in all of that, none of his words don't ring false to you.
Okay. Oh, I'm not gonna lie to you, Vix. You tell me where to meet you, I'll meet you. But do you remember what I have said to you on many, many, many occasions?
He doesn't respond. He just watches you.
No matter what you have done, no matter what you think you've done, doesn't matter. You can always make it right.
I'm here in the maintenance level of Sulon. And he just the environment just completely shifts around you. Everything changes, and suddenly you find yourself standing on a catwalk over just sort of a large pit, in which, at the bottom of which, you can see just these towering structures that are clearly some kind of. They are most likely like a kind of like the artificial gravity generator for the atmosphere for the asteroid, as well as like the atmosphere generators and things like that. And he's standing on a catwalk, kind of a platform in the center of all of this, that looks down over what is just a colossal cavern filled with industrial structures. Almost like a city unto itself. It's kind of like if you've ever seen, like, if you look at like gas refineries, it kind of looks like that, where it's like this weird looking, almost like a parallel city type structure.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing is just sort of full of that.
Lots of places where people could be kind of like hiding.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
And he stands there and he says, "You can meet me here. I've already sent you coordinates."
Kind of looking over where we kind of are seeing now, I want to kind of take the image of the city that we're seeing, and I want to kind of make us appear as if we are seeing the skyline of Anzalon Prime, and we're on that balcony
Sure.
again.
Yeah, you do so. And as you do, you can see. He doesn't obviously react, but letting you ride that roll from earlier, you can see that he sort of twitches very slightly. Like you can see mostly like his fingers like of his hand just sort of very slightly kind of like extend and come back. No more movement than that. As he watches you and he just says, "Come alone."
I will. And Vix, I'm gonna make them really regret what they did to you. I'll see you later. And I'm gonna go ahead and
Just
like
leave.
bolt out of the dream,
Yeah.
and then
Bail.
and then also immediately as soon as I am out of there, I'm going to contact Wyre and tell her that we have been found and that we need to move immediately.
Yeah. So you sit up and you start typing out a message to Wyre, and as you're doing that, you actually see an incoming message from her.
Okay.
It's a video message. As you pull it up, she's looking up at you, and she's very clear. Like you can see her hair is sleep tousled, and her eyes are just sort of like it definitely looks like she was just asleep. And as she's kind of coming to wakefulness, she says, "Good, you're awake. We have a problem."
We've been found by Silverbreak.
Yeah, how did you know?
I got tipped off.
Well, regardless, they're here. 3 of their ships just jumped into orbit around Sulan. We've got to move.
Wyre, I know you're going to think this is a really, really stupid idea, but just trust me when I say that I think I need to see this out.
Do what you need to do, but make sure everybody else knows what's going on.
Okay.
Just
I'm going to go meet the mimic.
She just looks up, just sorry, I can't hear you cutting, and you see like the transmissions are starting to like,
yeah,
go
of
fuzzy.
course they are. Of course they are.
And that's where we're gonna take our break. As Peach, you're standing there and watching this transmission from Wyre just starting to phase out, static coming in from the sides. You looking at this, you are realizing in that moment that not only have you been found by the corpse, but that they are actively jamming Sulan, which means Sulan's communications, which means that there is a full-scale lockdown about to take place. So
Good.
that's
Good
where we're gonna
to
take.
know.
That's where we're gonna take our break. We will be back. We're a little bit late, but we're gonna be back in. We're gonna try to be like 10 minutes, no less, so that we can be right back here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
and
I'm
continue
so
on.
scared. Oh god.
Thanks for the follows, those of you who did while we were doing this. Welcome. I think John put a link to the guide so that if you are new here, you can understand a little bit about what's going on. We will be right
Humber
back.
setting. Hey.
Yeah. Humber setting. It's the fun trick about it. We will be back very soon. Get some water, refill your popcorn, which I am assuming you have, and yeah, we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Oh, okay. Enjoy your break. I'm gonna use my freak out.
And we are back. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you got a chance to stretch your legs and arms and your general body,
All 4 of them.
All 4 of your bodies? What?
Arms.
All 4 of your arms, yes, correct.
Or bodies, I don't judge.
All of them. All of those things.
We just screamed the whole break and didn't get a chance to refill our waters.
Yeah, that's it was just a bunch of screaming and me doing this. That was the whole break.
Just made us scream more.
It's true. All right, so
Escape an asteroid.
an asteroid under lockdown.
Under lockdown.
All right, so when we left off, the crew of Awakener was being awoken to. See what I did there? Don't laugh at that, Caitlin. Don't validate me. I was being awoken to the asteroid coming under lockdown by Silverbreak Technologies, their corporate security branch of the Megacorp, who has been hounding the crew for months. Now, finally having tracked them down, in the midst of a rather dramatic reunion between Peach and her missing brother.
Is Wyre's nameless ship functional? Did we finish the patch job?
Tell you what,
Did I roll for it?
we can do that retroactively because now it's
Okay.
important. Before, I wasn't gonna make you roll before because I didn't want to tip you to the fact that there would be a time
Yeah,
constraint.
that's fair.
So now we will roll
It's
retroactively.
okay, I'm fast. I'm fast.
All right. Well, then in that it's fitting that this is going to be a speed roll.
Shit.
The
Okay, cool.
the
I
difficulty
can
of
do that,
this
that's fine.
is the difficulty of the speed roll is going to be a difficulty of 4.
Okay. Cool.
And I will say that with the help that you have enlisted, you already get automatically an asset from
Cool.
the help. So,
Asset from Mr. the Inevitable.
yeah, Mr. the Inevitable, exactly.
Okay. Character sheet. I haven't done this in a while.
What, roll dice? That's correct.
Yeah, I know.
We haven't.
Do I have a tool that gives me an asset?
Probably.
Any of my
I would.
tools?
I'm
Okay,
just going to assume that you did because you had time to prepare your. Yeah.
cool. And then mechanic.
So that's already down 3 levels of difficulty.
Mechanic is specialized.
So then
that's
that's all 4.
Mhm.
Cool.
And then to even sweeten the pot a little bit, tool mastery. If I have an asset from using a tool, the time required to perform the task is cut in half.
Perfect.
So I'm very fast.
Very fast indeed.
Good at what I do.
Heart of Handprints, thank you so much for gifting all those subs.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh. All right. Throwing me off here because it wasn't at the top of the stream. So
Brief reminder that if you are a sub or a patron, you get to know the cast of our interim show
yeah, that's right.
early.
Exactly.
So get on the Discord.
Okay, so you don't have to roll, and all of your time got cut in half. So
Fast as fuck.
So essentially, like, just to illustrate what is happening here, what did happen here, a job that would have taken a full crew of mechanics about a week or not a week. That's probably the quote that they would have given you, but the reality is that Bina would know that it would take probably at least 5 days to do. A job that you were supposed to get done in like 3 days, you did it in like a little bit just over like a day.
15 hours. Let's go.
Yeah.
Woo!
You just sort of and you just cut it in half. It's not
I'm
pretty.
sure these people working with Bina for the first time are like,
Honestly,
what kind of crew is she running?
Honestly, the only person who isn't phased is the Inevitable. He's the only one who is absolutely not phased by any of this.
He's like, yeah, I'm into this.
If anything, he seems somewhat impressed with your ability
Yes.
to like think quickly and then to like repair quickly.
I always imagine her like the cutting time in half is due to the fact that she's her improvisation thing that she does, which is like, yeah, I mean, it's okay. We just fully bypassed that. Let's go.
I will say it is not pretty. It is
No.
not safe, but it'll get
But
you
she'll
out of here.
fly.
It's not pretty and it's
The
not
girl
safe.
will fly.
She will fly. How long is a different story, but
Would not pass inspection.
yeah,
Out of here, as long as we're out of here.
exactly. So, you got that done, which means that yes, everything is prepped and ready. Before we actually like begin our mad rush into everything, here's what I'm gonna hand wave a few things. For instance, we're coming back into the story like just after Peach has woken everybody up and lit the fire under everyone. So, for the sake of this, why don't you? I'm thinking it might actually be a good idea to play through some of this part. This might have to be a scene. I think it has to be a scene. Okay, so then in that case, I'm going to. Okay, so you are all sort of gathered in the apartment. Currently, there has been no time for Wyre to come up to you. So currently, she's coming in over um, just sort of a holographic projection that's standing in the room with you. Um, Additionally, Jade is also has also been woken up and been like emergency time, which uh, actually convinced him to take the call. Uh, so everybody currently at this point in time is like pretty sleep deprived, having been suddenly woken up in the middle of the night just before
It's probably good.
just before 0 hour, effectively. No, not true. Just about at just before the beginning of the day cycle. Having been given the information that you've been given, I'd say in total, since Peach got the heads up, it's probably been a total of about I'd say maybe about 15 minutes or so, during which time Wyre has done a full sweep of the city and is currently in the middle of reporting. As she's saying, it's not looking good, and honestly, I should have seen this coming. But they've got the whole place on full lockdown. They've got the asteroid blockaded, and they're sending security teams to sweep the city. It looks like Sulan is cooperating with them. I don't know what they told him, but whatever it is, we got to get out, and that's going to be a lot harder with the added corporate security presence sweeping the streets.
Do you think, I know we were going to be out in the public with, the revolution, but this might be the perfect time to do that for a handy distraction. I mean, we're trapped.
What did you have in mind?
If we can turn the people against the city and keep them from cooperating as easily, then it could create enough chaos for us to sneak on out.
No. That's good. We have to be careful about it, though. We can't just come out and announce ourselves as a resistance movement, because that'll just bring the city down on us harder.
Yeah.
I think I might have an idea.
Okay, and if just in case that doesn't work, I do have a backup plan. I'm going to meet a very dangerous possible ally in the depths of the maintenance city below Sulan.
Okay. We should try to she's definitely not listening to you. She's like looking around very like
I'm taking that as approval.
yeah,
Mason just gives you like a long side eye.
Yeah. She says, "Look, I don't know. Whatever you've got to do it. Right now, I'm not sure how long this emergency channel is going to hold out before they find it and jam this too. So whatever we're going to do, we got to do it now."
I've seen the inside of the control room.
Okay.
I don't know a lot about computers, though. If we can get in there, that's where we could end a lockdown, right?
Olam raises his hand. He says, "I mean, I do know something about computers. I could go."
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that should be fine. And Patch speaks up, says, "I will accompany you." Abriel and her sister Ari, they look at each other, and Abriel says, "Well, somebody's got to shepherd these people to the ship. It's not safe for them to be going through the streets alone. We know the way, and
Take them in pods.
she looks at Ari and says, "Might be better if we can take them in groups. 100 people moving through the streets is going to be pretty conspicuous."
Few at a time.
She looks at Ari, and she says, "You can take some of them, and I'll take some of them." Zaya, who is also coming in from Wyre's end, she says, 50 people is still a lot of people during a lockdown. We got to break that up more if we can. And if possible, they should all be coming from different directions.
Is there... How close are the maintenance ways in Ceylon to the surface, the ground, street level?
I mean,
Do they run all throughout, or is it just like there's just one area?
no, there are definitely things have to be directly connected. So there are utility shafts that connect directly to the main maintenance area. They are.
I mean, that could get them out of sight for a while. They're navigable. We could get some maps.
Wyre nods. I thought about that. They won't. None of them will give you a direct route. I made sure, in fact, that the warehouse that I chose wouldn't be reachable directly through those, just because believe me, I've seen a lot of intelligence ops use those things, and I didn't want anybody finding what I had hidden. But
could it get them halfway?
it could at least get you cover at points. I can send you all maps with the relevant locations where you can duck in and an exit point, and it should give you cover in maybe some of the worst spots, in the most heavily trafficked spots. But we need to break down this group some more.
If however many of us are going to the ships, if we divide the group by that many, and each of us take
I think that
some.
That should work.
That would work.
Wyre says, I'm not going to be able to help you much with this. I have to continue gathering up everything that I've got here. I can't leave any data behind for them.
Mm-mm.
It'll take me a few minutes to do a system purge, just do a data purge, and then I'll have to grab. She points for Zaya's benefit. She says, just those 2 boxes, and that's. She looks around and says, that should be the bare essentials. It's the only thing we can carry anyway. She nods, just okay. Let's get this done before, and just almost as if on cue, you can see the transmission starts to get fuzzy and then just sort of cuts out.
Get you there.
You just reach via you just get over your. So right now your terminals still function, but they're text based only. You can't do any wire voice communication right now. As you get this, you just see a message from Jade saying, "I'll prep the ship."
You guys, do we have enough? If I'm not there, are the groups going to be able to be broken up small enough, or do you need me for this?
So if Patch and Olam get into the control center, is that what was said?
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct in that?
Yes.
The sisters, me, Mason. Is Sedona here?
Yeah.
Sedona, Alma. I'm
Alma
assuming Alma's
actually
here. Is Alma on the ship?
she's here, but she says, I actually might be better off if I leave now. I can help
Get there faster?
I can get there faster. And I can help Jade get everything set up. There's 2 ships to prep now, so
Yeah. Oh, I'll probably have to fly the other ship, huh? Okay.
Actually, Wyre can fly, not like Bina can fly, but Wyre can fly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Backups. So no Alma. Got 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's still 20 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any more of us in here?
I don't think so.
Or am I miscounting? I think that's all of us.
I mean, there's the
Professor? Where is the professor?
He's not in here. He's with Wyre.
Okay.
He's with
He
Wyre.
would not be good at escorting
No,
people without
no.
being seen.
Nah.
It would be comical, but
Olam looks at Patch. He says, "Well, we should probably go now then if we're gonna get this done in time."
I give them all the info I know about what I saw in there, which I mean, I got good eyes, but I was far away from what I could see from the outside.
Okay.
From the windows.
Olam nods. Says, "Okay, I should be able to hopefully take this offline? At least long enough for us to get through. Maybe, I don't know. I'll see what I can do.
Drive-by pickup. We'll get you.
Okay. Patch just says, not to worry. We shall be successful.
Yes, you will. He's like, that's
You
the
guys
attitude
got
I want to hear.
this.
Let's do
You guys
this.
got this.
All right. Olin and Patch and Alma all leave at the same time.
Okay. I can help lead some folks if we're cutting through the maintenance tunnels. I need to go and meet with something that could very well be a trap, but I'm gonna go off and do that, and I think it could, if everything goes correctly, could get us out of this mess.
You're so cryptic.
It's okay.
Have fun.
We don't have time.
Yeah, I know.
but-
Have fun.
Okay. And before we kind of all go, I'm just gonna kind of turn to you guys, and if you see me again and I'm with the Mimic or with Silverbreak and I don't seem like myself, don't let me talk, just knock me out.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And
Okay, let's go
Fine.
get our pods of 20.
and I no, I can help lead people
okay.
up to a certain point. Just I'm gonna cut off and like go through the tunnels and go to the place I'm meeting Vix.
Okay, good, because I'd like you to describe the plan to them because
I'll say this.
you have rapport and also they're better.
I'll say this. There is definitely a way that if you all split off and go in different directions, there's a place where Peach can rendezvous with another group and then split off and go the way that she needs to go. So that's absolutely
that's kind of, I was hoping for something similar, so perfect.
yeah.
We can rendezvous with the group that Mason leads.
Okay. All right. So you then set about like going to eat door to door and rousing everybody. And actually, thanks to Peach's conversations with them earlier,
Oh, good.
you
Oh,
don't
thank
you
God.
don't actually have a whole lot of resistance. You don't have the people who are going, "Oh, what's going on? You know, this is too late or it's too early."
It's
Like
okay, everybody, we're filing
Yeah.
single order.
you have a lot of people. Some people are a little bit disgruntled, but they are moving without question. They are just going. They start getting themselves together, and luckily nobody has things to gather. So,
I want Mr. the Inevitable in my squad.
yeah. So you spend some time just sort of letting everybody know. Anything particular that you want to say to them, Peach?
Just we are going to get you all out of here safely, and we have it all under control, so let's all go and look out for each other.
Everybody keep an eye on your orientation leaders. We don't get you getting lost on campus.
Use the buddy system.
All right.
All
Do
of us
not
have
wander
staff
off.
written on our shirts.
And we're walking. No.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't wander
walking.
off.
Okay. So yeah, you get yourselves together. You are in your groups, and you begin. It doesn't take you actually that long to split them up and divide them up. So yeah. Sorry, Caitlin, did you have something you want to say?
No, I just thought we were already in the tunnels and I was going to say something about it.
Sure,
but that's
no.
okay if we're not there
That's
yet.
where we're going now. We're
Okay.
So we cut to outside as you step out onto the street. In like your whole group, basically, as you begin splitting off, the thing that you can see very clearly is there's a huge difference from just a few minutes ago. That now, where before there was lines of near constant traffic, all vehicles are grounded. There is nothing flying through the air except
Boo.
you can see dropships going to various parts of the city. It's like watching a diffuse swarm of insects that, like from a distance, just sort of going to the different parts of the city. And you watch as they flood the skyways.
Okay.
All right. Abriel turns to the rest of you and she says, "Well, we all knew it was gonna probably gonna end like this, so." Just relax. I'm joking. She says to like one of the like horrified looking people in her group.
Man, I need to have a PR. Like,
Nice to them.
Relax. I'm
They're
joking.
scared.
we need like a team building day or something.
Yeah. And with that, your groups just sort of begin splitting off, going in their pre-assigned directions.
Okay, here's what I want to do, just because I have something I can help them right off the bat. Once we're like in a place that is like not out in the open, I'm gonna turn to them and be like, okay, I'm gonna do something that's gonna help you guys out just a little bit. I'm telling you in advance, just go with it, okay? And I want to try to just instill calm over all of them. I will spend for it if you would like. I don't know if I'd have to roll unless they were resisting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll, but I will have you throw an
Spend.
initial spend at that. So I'm gonna have you.
Cool.
I'm gonna say the cost of that is gonna be increased by 3.
Okay, it's a made up ability. We kind of make it up. It kind of combined like encouragement and fast talk to like, instead of making someone do something, it's making them feel something.
Right,
So
right.
the fast talk is 1 intellect.
Okay. And encouragement
It's
is
how encouragement is just like you gain an asset.
right. Okay.
If you're
No,
whatever.
I know that. I'm just saying like in terms of cost, but
Oh, sorry, it's 1. They're both 1.
they're both 1. Okay. Yeah, then I'd say it's a total cost of 4 for this.
Okay, cool. And my edge eats? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I just want to make sure they're like, we're all good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat your fear for a little bit. We're all gonna be fine.
Yeah. You
I've got you, and I
you
want to
immediately-
area
yeah,
affect
you
them.
just feel that calm radiate out, and then you feel it kind of reflect back at you in a way, like
Yeah.
where you know it's taking effect, and you can see they kind of relax a little bit, and they just sort of nod and follow you.
Sorry, it's weird. We've never done this before, but just trust me. We're gonna go.
Yeah, the inevitable. He looks at you and he just says, "I will admit this is perhaps the calmest I have ever been in my entire life."
I'm so glad we can do it more if you want. And then we gotta get out of here first.
Oh, I love him.
All right.
Me too.
You yeah,
Mr. the Inevitable. You're my new friend.
you
It's like a band name.
proceed. Mr. the Inevitable. Absolutely.
Is that German techno music
That's-
you like?
yeah.
to listen
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, you proceed through the streets. I'm gonna have some people make rolls. So, I'm actually gonna have everybody. This is gonna be. I'm gonna say you can use speed or intellect here. And the difficult. This is basically to like move with like and avoiding like any patrols or things like that through the streets. So you can
Could we make a pitch for how like
Yeah.
like Mason wants to be like, I'm good at tactical stuff, and I'd be like, I'm
Yeah.
good at like controlling a crowd. Can we do that kind of
yes.
thing?
And let me give you the difficulty
cool.
first, and then
Yes.
you can go about telling me describing how you each do that.
Sweet.
So
Yes.
the difficulty on this roll is going to be, it's gonna be 5.
Okay.
This is a bit of a tough one. You're leading a group of people who are not used to this kind of thing through streets that are mostly locked down. And being actively patrolled. So this is a bit of a tough one. But the difficulty is 5. You can use speed or intellect on this. So go ahead and tell me, what are you doing?
I know what I'm doing. If you guys are good.
Still-
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm gonna go from like crowd control and spatial awareness is what I'm hoping here. So task sensing emotions dispositions, is that gonna help me if I can keep
Yes,
Keep them in check?
absolutely. And
Okay,
because
that's-
the reason I'm is not only just your people, but also like your kind
outside?
of
That's
being able
keeping-
to sense the
keep an antenna out about what's up there.
Yeah.
Cool. It's 2 of them. Social interactions, pleasant or otherwise, keeping my crowd controlled and with me.
yeah, sure,
directing
I'll allow
them.
it. Yep.
Can I perception tests involving sight?
Absolutely. That's gonna
Crushed
matter.
it. That's 6.
Is that the whole thing? That's
Oh my god.
Bina did not roll. Through a combination of like managing people's emotions and just sort of
Feeling other motions and keeping my eyeballs
feeling,
on
like
things.
knowing that the patrol is like being able to feel them coming around like a corner and be like, oh, everybody back, and then just sort of waiting and then looking around, seeing, okay, there's a patrol over there, but they're very busy, and then just like going. It's time to go. Yeah, you managed to, without any difficulty, you managed to make
Hilariously, she's not made to do this, but like what she is made to do really benefits this particular situation.
I am going to offer you a GM
Yeah, I
intrusion.
gotta take it.
Okay,
Of course, we're gonna
cool.
take it.
All right. I'll just go ahead and take your 2 XP, 1 for yourself and 1 for somebody else.
Mason.
Okay.
Take it.
Okay, thank
And
you.
I'm gonna hang
I'll take
on
it.
to that intrusion for later.
Fucking great.
Oh no, that's not a good sign.
Love to hear that.
Or rather, more
Interesting.
accurately, it is an intrusion that you will not become aware of until later.
Until later. Something happened.
So,
Sorry, guys.
anyway, all
I
right.
love it.
Mason and Peach, what are you guys doing?
So I was going to kind of use some of my abilities to kind of help basically notice if we're drawing any attention. So I want to use, first of all, I kind of want to use the kind of surface thought ability to kind of see if anybody is like kind of noticing our crowd, so that we can kind of move away from them. If who's nearby, it's kind of a way to like know where people are also.
Okay.
And if anyone's too close, I also, if anybody does see us and is like starting to like send people after, I kind of want to use impart ideal to convince them that this how should I word this to make it work?
I would say don't worry about that unless you
Okay.
flub the roll.
Okay.
That's the like recovering after the flubbed roll kind of thing.
Okay,
So
I had steps planned.
yeah. So for now, how are
Okay.
how are you navigating with these people? Like, how are you trying to get them through without being caught?
Oh, I mean, I'm mostly just kind of trying to. I'm just trying to kind of use what I know of the city and kind of where Wyre has kind of. I assume that Wyre has been had informed us kind of where the biggest chatter was of the biggest kind of groups.
Yeah, you have that
So kind of-
information.
Yeah, so kind of using that knowledge, I'm just gonna kind of try and take people as hidden as possible through different paths. But I mean, I can't really think of any
Sure.
other way to do it besides just kind of being aware of where people are to try and lead them around kind of the biggest spots.
Sounds good. All right, so then it's a difficulty of 5.
Yeah.
So what do you got? I think the first thing that you said that you were gonna do. What was that again?
I want to use kind of my mind reading surface
Right.
thoughts to see if there's any kind of immediate nearby danger.
Okay, so that.
to then kind of anyone who comes by to kind of turn them away.
Gotcha. Okay, so then that is. I'm gonna allow that to count as an asset in this case.
Okay.
For this, yeah.
Okay, so it's down to 4. Is it an asset because these people are especially kind of calm and comfortable with kind of me specifically? Would that kind of make them be able to kind of move a little bit more like quickly? Like they're not as scared, they're not as like jumpy, they're kind of more
In
just
sync with you?
Yeah, they're more kind of in sync and like following my step.
For anybody else, I would say it is mostly just that fact is just preventing any like added complications. But
Okay.
because it's you specifically that made that happen, like these people, your group, because you talked to them earlier in the day and just before you left, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, I'll allow it to count as an asset because they have sort of like you've become the familiar and sympathetic face essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's glad that came in handy. Okay, so then I'm going to, with the difficulty 3, I am going to spend 2 levels of effort.
Okay. Brings it down to a 1.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna roll.
All right, you just need a 3 or better.
Okay. Okay, okay, I'm gonna use this same die that I've been using that's been rolling well for me. Knock on wood. 15.
Okay. All right. So you crush that one. You just go like building to building. It is like you go from building to building, noting which ones are like taking the lockdown order seriously and which ones are like, in fact, right now you can actually see quite a few people who were on their way to or from work who basically got caught out in the middle of this lockdown order and are basically, they can't get home, so they're essentially just scrambling for a place to be.
Mhm.
And so you can see that there are buildings there. There are some businesses that are taking people in and are basically just saying them, all right, here, we'll just lock down right here. You can come in right here. And so you can see that. You can see a few of the buildings that are doing that, and you can see who's taking it seriously and who isn't. And it's very easy for you to just sort of like go building to building. In fact, it seems like a lot of people are kind of doing that to try to get home, because there are quite a few people who got caught out in the middle of this, who they don't want to be away from their families in the middle of whatever this
Lockdown.
is.
Yeah.
They're scared, they're worried, so there's a lot of people building hopping. It just so happens that you have a group of quite a few people.
16.6.
Well, we're gonna call that an even 16. How about that? Yeah. So, yes, Mason.
Okay. I think Mason, I think a bit of his regulator training kind of kicks in a little bit. So he's going to try to kind of be tactical. He's going to take charge and get these people through
Okay.
as best he can.
All right. So with that difficulty 5, what are you doing?
To avoid, an attempt to avoid any entanglements, I would think Mason would try to assess danger.
Okay, that's one of your abilities, right?
Assessing.
Okay, cool.
Assessing danger. Can I name off the abilities?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
would work?
But
Okay.
tell me what. Explain it to me. How does it work?
I actually haven't read it in a long time. I just have it written down here, but I'm assuming it's like well, let's see, what is it? And also, would running work as well?
I would allow it in this case. Yeah, you were trained or specialized?
Specialized.
Specialized. Okay. So that's an automatic 2 bump. So you're down to a difficulty 3 right off the bat.
Ooh, okay. I might. Okay. Can I use regulator training or regulators as a asset, or is that a little far?
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I thought I'd mention it just in case.
Yeah.
And I'm also just stalling because I'm trying to look for assess danger, which I cannot find.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in the explorers thing.
Okay.
Dexterity as a power shift to no, that doesn't
no.
really work.
No, I don't think that one's gonna.
Would that help in like a stealth? Like stealthing?
Not really,
Dexterity
because
is-
that's more about like a reflex thing, I believe.
I see.
It helps him with initiative and with speed defense rolls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know assessing danger is like something, being able to determine a threat.
If I remember
trying to
correctly, it's the
avoid
one
it.
that gives you an asset if you spend a certain amount of time watching. If I remember correctly, I think that's the one that it is.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I think you have to spend time.
Okay. So we'll go ahead for the sake of this.
Absolutely.
For the sake of this, also just in the future, if you're gonna use an ability, have it prepped and ready and know how it works.
Yeah, I know.
But for the sake of this, I'm gonna say that is how that we're gonna use it that way for now. So I will allow that to count as another asset, which drops it down as an asset. So that drops it down to a difficulty 2 now. I think you're at a difficulty 2.
Okay, and then I'm going to spend a level of effort as well.
Sounds good. So difficulty 1. So you just need a 3 or better.
Here goes. And I got a 19.
That's a minor effect. So, anything that you have off the top of your head for a minor effect?
If there's like a food cart, maybe just like kick something that causes the food cart to slide and like cause a commotion.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So yeah, you at one point as you are leading your group of people, and you're like right across the street from the entrance to the maintenance tunnels that you need, but there's a patrol that's just coming down the street, and as you know that you could probably make it, but the rest of the group probably not without being seen. And as you glance around, you see there is indeed like a food cart not far, where like somebody had basically just been setting up for the day before they left due to the imposed lockdown. As you reach out for it, you start kind of like you manage to kind of unseen get up to it and start just kind of pushing it. You hit like basically the wheel locks that are on it. You just completely decouple those, and the cart just starts rolling down the street and just crashes full on into the side of a building. Just as
Is it gonna help with any like? Is it get people out of the front, like for where they're headed?
Yeah, well, essentially what happens is that the commotion that it causes, not just the noise, but also the startled and panicked reactions from the people in the building that it hits, draw the sudden attention of the guards or of the security, who suddenly turn around and just start rushing towards it in the complete opposite direction. And as you stand there for a second, Mason, watching, waiting, making sure, it looks like they're occupied, and you and your group just run across the street and into the maintenance tunnels. So,
Sweet.
we're gonna push this ahead a little bit. We're going to say, at this point, you make your way through the tunnels, and Mason, you reach the rendezvous location with Peach's group. You wait there for you probably only have to wait for about maybe 2 or 3 minutes before you hear the sounds of them approaching and turning. You can see it's essentially where you are is an intersection, just sort of a massive junction of all these different maintenance corridors. And you see Peach and her group approaching from one of them.
Mason,
Hello.
you got these people from here?
Oh yeah. Are you gonna be all right?
I think so. I'm going to meet Vix.
You better be.
Vix told me to meet him. He said he's alone, but I'm gonna try to turn him on our side. So, wish me luck.
You got this.
Well, one way or the other, I think it's gonna have to work. There's not really another option. So, but not that I think this is likely, but if I do not come back, or I come back and I'm not myself, just act fast, okay?
All right.
Okay. Not that that'll happen. I'll be all right. Okay, everybody go with Mason, follow him. He's got you guys all covered. He's done this tons of times.
You get a few confused looks
All
from that,
40
but
of you.
And I'm gonna go ahead and kind of give Mason a wink and then just got it from here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm off into the bowels of the city.
okay. So,
Man.
as Peach makes her way off into one of the other tunnels, following some of the blueprints that you received.
Really glad Bina wasn't the one meeting me, because my emotions would not be stable.
Mason, you watch her leave for a few minutes until you can no longer see her in the gloom of the maintenance tunnels. And then you kind of turn.
I'm gonna send Mason my coordinates also,
Okay.
that where I'm headed.
Sounds good.
Specifically.
At that point, Mason, you turn and you look over at all of the people who are sort of expectantly just sort of watching you, standing about in the tunnel.
What? Let's go.
Everybody just kind of, there's a confused murmur as people just sort of hesitantly step forward and start walking, following you. All right, we'll cut over to Bina.
Careful now.
We'll cut over to
The
Bina.
oldest group of refugees
Yeah.
ever to exist.
Yeah, they are very calm. I mean, you can feel their nerves, but it's sort of
Yeah.
It's
They've got
it's
it.
being
They're
kept in
like
check,
they're not
yeah.
level-headed at least.
Yeah, it's being kept in check. You move through the tunnels, and as you do, you hear that sort of blink, sound of a message coming in, and as you look at your terminal, you can see that that Abriel's group has run into a problem.
How far are they from me?
They
How
are.
far am I from the rendezvous point?
Hmm?
First of all, sorry. How far am I from the rendezvous point?
Well, I don't
first
know
of all?
that you were reaching a rendezvous point.
Oh, I thought we were all getting. That's fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
How far are we from the ships then?
From the ships, you're probably about halfway at this point.
Okay.
Abriel, on the other hand, is basically pinned down in a building just across from her entrance to the maintenance shafts.
Oh, she hasn't even gotten down yet.
Mm-mm.
Fuck.
She has her coordinates that she sent to you. And yes, I am
Up to how long?
now enacting
Yes,
your
I can tell,
your
I can
GM
tell.
intrusion.
Okay. How long will it take me to get to them? If it's just me.
If it's just you, it would probably take you maybe about. You could probably get there in about 5 minutes.
How much time would it take me to get the rest of them to the ship?
It's probably another 10 or 15.
Cool. Don't have time for that. I'm gonna get this and just be like, fuck. Whirl around. Where is Mr. the Inevitable? He's going to become team captain of this cohort.
Yeah, he is standing. He's kind of been constantly in your shadow, basically, this
Good.
whole time, like just a few steps behind you.
Cool. She's gonna kind of like pause everyone for a second and kind of like whirl around and be like, okay, the Inevitable, how you feel about stepping up?
Stepping up for what exactly?
Team leader.
I see.
There's been some trouble.
I am not exactly the leadership type. I'm more of a solo lone wolf kind of individual.
You're very smart.
Yes, that is
Certified
correct. Well,
genius.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you very smart is a bit of an understatement. Yes, but
Bad quantifier. Yeah. Certified genius.
that is correct.
Adaptable.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah. I think this is an undertaking you can handle.
Listen, I'm going to save you a little bit of time, and I'm going to say that right now we are a bit lacking as to options to the way to proceed. So if I
Yes,
am
we
needed
are.
to step up, then I will take on this mantle. But
Do you have a co-captain? Do you want a co-captain? You can pick a co-captain.
he looks around and he says, I don't know any of these people.
Do I know any of them? Have I spent any time with any of them?
No, like very few of these are anybody. Like actually, as you're looking around, you can see that there's one person who like briefly helped you on the ship, with the repairs.
Reliable? Level-headed in any way?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, out of point at them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do? I want a sweep of like underneath my help. Who's got the most calm here?
Fair enough.
Or feels the most like not at ease, because no one's gonna be at ease, but like
Hey,
like how I can tell that Mason has that like control.
Yeah, it's time for me to pull up our NPC list again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Made by our patrons. Thanks,
Made by our patrons. Okay, so you look around, and the person who is the most kind of calm, aside from your assistants at the moment, you look around and you sense it. It takes you a second to like visually pin them down, but you find you actually see a Skoru.
Okay.
He's one of the avian race, who has sort of very pale plumage. He appears to be calm. Calm isn't exactly the way I would put it. More like comfortable with not
Yes.
being calm.
Yes, that's what. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I want.
It's you.
Bina's kind of like looking around and you. What's your name?
I'm Kiat.
Kiat. It is so nice to meet you. I'm Bina Opa. How do you feel about being co-captain?
I suppose I can do that. What do I need to do?
You two are gonna use all of your incredible skills and impeccable minds and calm in this wild situation. And I need you guys to get everyone to these coordinates. And I'm gonna kind of pull up where they need to go as quietly as you can. It's okay if it takes you a little longer, as long as you're being quiet when you don't get seen. Can you do that? And I'm
Yes.
talking to both of them.
Yes, I think I can do that. And
I'm so proud of both of you.
uh,
And I would like to give at least one or both of them encouragement
Sure.
with help with social interactions plus or otherwise
Fair enough.
to help control this group
All right.
for a bit while I leave.
Okay. The inevitable turns to you and he just says, "We shall take on this mission that has been thrust upon us. You have my word on that."
You're wonderful. Okay. And she's gonna 2-arm pat both of them on the shoulder, be like, okay, I gotta go get another group. Good luck. I'll see you soon. And she's gonna start running. Well, sorry, what was the name again? I got excited while I was writing. I wrote down
Kiat.
Kiat.
Mm-hmm. Kiyat.
Cool.
Um.
And I'm coming here now.
All right. So
This might have been a really bad idea, but I gave them everything I could. We've been going
actually,
so smoothly
I'll say this
up until
just
that
before
point.
just before you turn to leave. The inevitable grabs your wrist and says, "If I may make a suggestion,
Yes.
your routes thus far have not led us astray. However, I suspect that there is a simpler path, as there quite often is. Let me see that." And he looks at
I'll-
and he pulls it up and looks at it and says,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
help from the
this-
genius.
"Yes." And that's exactly as I thought. If you cut through, he says, right now the most maintenance sectors, they are mapped here, but what you don't have mapped here, and you watch as another overlay settles over top of the map. It says what you don't have here are the individual life support systems and facilities for each of the sectors of the city. They are not mapped out on here, and it is common practice to actually have areas of egress through those locations. If you cut
Right.
through these right here, you should be able to cut a significant portion of time off of your travels.
She'll kind of slap him on the shoulder and be like, see, I know I picked you for a reason. You're going to be great. Now apply that. Get these people where they need to go. Okay, thank you. Here we go. And I'm going to use that path to get me back to Gabriel.
Okay. All right. So, with that then, as you are rushing in that direction, we are going to cut to Peach.
Cool.
So, you slowly make your way through the tunnels, taking deep breaths to calm yourself as you move. Thinking about your mind racing with the possibilities of what could be, what might be waiting for you up ahead. Is it a trap? You were always good at telling when your brother was lying, but you were always also very sure that this person he's not entirely your brother yet. It's possible that you're being played, and all of these thoughts just sort of turning over in your mind as you make your way through these tunnels. But eventually you find yourself stepping out of the maintenance tunnel into a much wider area as you step out onto a catwalk that steps out into this enormous cavernous pocket in the asteroid's crust, full of all sorts of life support equipment and just sort of the general there you can see distantly various power stations that are centered in key points throughout this cavern. You can see what appears to be the artificial atmosphere generator, just a towering construct with that almost in the shape of a tuning fork with a wide base at the bottom, and a central spinning apparatus that appears to be generating the artificial atmosphere that contains the life within this asteroid. You also see a lot of movement in some of the upper catwalks as you look around, as you see various forms of the insectoid caretakers moving about their business, maintaining the systems here. As you see them just sort of scuttling about, very few of them actually taking notice of you, and those who do, largely indifferent to your presence. One or two of them sort of click at you as you walk past, but don't attempt to stop you. And as you proceed, you find yourself rounding the corner of a massive oxygen storage tank. And as you do, you start getting a glimpse of that very same central platform that you saw in the dream, the one that Vix projected for you. And sure enough, you hesitate because you almost expected not to see him standing there, but he is there, standing exactly where he was in the dream, already seemingly aware of your presence, making eye contact with you from across this the wide expanse between you.
As I kind of turn or kind of come into his line of sight and we make eye contact, I want to try to kind of, with the emotion of kind of me being there, I'm sure he's kind of reacting even if I can't see it, and I want to try and put him to sleep as soon as we make eye contact.
Okay.
He can't use his abilities in the dream.
Okay. So, I'm gonna have you roll.
Okay.
The difficulty is going to be 6.
Okay. So, I am trained in this ability.
Mm-hmm. So that
So
drops
that
it
lowers
down.
it to 5. Because it's unexpected, like because it's like a kind of a surprise, would the surprise aspect of it give me an asset because he might not have had time to kind of throw up mental defenses?
I think
Surprise round.
what I think I'm gonna do is actually just for that, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tack on a modifier. So you'll just get
Okay.
an extra +1 to your roll.
Okay. That's totally okay. Yeah, I think that's all I really have that will help me with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and spend, what is it, at 5 right now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna spend the free level of effort, and I'm gonna spend 3 levels of effort to try and successfully do this.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the difficulty now? Is it 2?
So you spent
3?
Yes. Yeah.
Knocked it down. Yeah, so it should be 2,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. So
Okay.
right now it's 6 or better.
6 or better.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna use an XP to reroll.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 2.
Okay. All right. Yep.
It's my only XP. So off to a good beginning here. Okay. 17.
Okay. All right. So you make eye contact with him as soon as you round this thing, and there's just a beat that goes by as the two of you stare at each other, and you just push, and he collapses.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna first take a look around while he's asleep for a second. Do I see anyone in the immediate vicinity, like any silver break, any suspicious movement, anyone that does not belong? Did he come alone?
You wait there for a moment. You're pretty sure that if there was anybody around, the moment he collapsed, they probably would have moved.
Yeah.
And as you're standing there just watching, waiting for that to happen, you don't see any movement other than the caretakers who are just sort of continuing about their business, totally indifferent to everything that's happening.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to him and I'm going to first quickly disarm him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he currently has on him a single pulse pistol and that
gnarly electroblade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are the only
I'm gonna like throw that, like just throw it far away.
Yeah.
Like I still have a scar. It's probably still bleeding.
Now, it got patched up pretty well.
Yeah.
But likely there will be some scarring. Yes.
And at that point, I'm just gonna kind of go up to him and place a hand on him and kind of join him in kind of the dream space.
Okay.
I'm gonna have this conversation in that realm
All right.
where I'm a little bit more in control.
So since you're the one initiating this, what does your dreamscape look like?
Oh, that's a good question. I think Peaches probably looks a lot kind of like her kind of young adulthood like bedroom in her old family house, like kind of the classic like Anselon Prime kind of like extravagant architecture, and kind of the like all of the best parts of the city are kind of like really overemphasized, and it's just this kind of nice like outdoor kind of indoor cool space.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it other than that.
It's a place where growing up you and Vic spent a lot of time together, mostly because when you were younger it was him being just not wanting to be alone and being wherever his sister was. When as you got older, it was because your mother was being particularly hard on him that day and he just needed a place to escape. And when you got even older, it just became a place where he would just come visit, where he just felt safe. And as the two of you materialized there, and him too, seated on your bed, like you, just kind of on the edge of your bed, like you always.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. And he looks up, and he says, "Not bad. I'll admit you caught me off guard."
It's kind of nice to be back here for a second.
He doesn't look around. He's just looking. He's just watching you.
So, you really came alone?
By the looks of things, so did you.
Well, I'm not one to go back on my word.
By now you probably know that Silverbreak Securities surrounded Sulan.
Yes,
There's sweeps going
well
through
aware.
the streets right now. They are going systematically. There are several 100,000 of them that have been deployed. They are going to find them.
Okay. So, why tell me this? We saw them come in. We know they're here.
I told you it's my job to find you and your friends.
Okay. That's really what you think. What is this expression right now? Can give me a read.
He's still pretty expressionless, but the telling thing is, it's not in any sort of emotional expression on his face. It's about the tension in his jaw, the twitching of his temple. He is, if you didn't know any better, you'd say that this is a man who is just teetering on the edge. This is someone who he's wrung tight.
Vix, when I was looking for you, I went to your place and found some pretty gnarly poetry that I promise I will not show anyone when you actually come and join our team. And I'm gonna kind of take his hand, and kind of the way in which we spurred Alma's memories. I know that's slightly a different circumstance, but because it's kind of a similar like memory block, or like some kind of, I feel like the way his mind is working, there has to be some kind of mental block that Silverbreak has put in. I want to see if I can kind of, while we're here, I want to kind of, using the familiar space, kind of play back some of our like memories together, and then also kind of see if I can locate through that any kind of area of blockage, like almost kind of scanning his mind as we're kind of going through.
Sure. As you basically you're projecting these. I'm not going to make you roll for any of this because this you rolled really well to put him to sleep, and this is essentially your space right now. You can do whatever you want with this. You just sort of projecting around you these images, these memories, these short scenes of your childhood, your lives together. You and as you're doing that, you are also searching for anything that is even remotely similar to what you found in Alma, and he at first doesn't look around at anything that is happening. He just continues watching you, and gradually you see him start to pay attention to some of them. You don't recognize any change in demeanor or in body language, but he's not paying attention to you, which means that he's probably not focused on your search.
Yeah.
And
Distraction was also kind of the point.
And as you continue reaching through, sorting through his mind, finding anything that feels even slightly resistant to you, you find nothing. There's no block here. In fact, you even find many of the memories that you're seeing, that you are projecting for him, you find them in his own mind. They're there. They're not being repressed. They're not being hidden. You don't know what they did to him, but he's not, as far as you can tell, he's not being blocked in any way. That said, I will also say something's not right.
Yeah.
That's very clear. You can't put your finger on it. This is more Bina's area of expertise. This isn't something that you particularly know what to do with, but you can sense that there's something wrong. You just don't know what. It's like being aware of a sound, but not being able to quite hear what it is, or what's making it.
And as we're kind of looking at these memories, and I kind of get to this kind of point where I realize that there's nothing that I can just like lift. There's nothing that I could just like break through. I'm gonna kind of have the kind of visual stop, kind of the memory stop, and kind of just turn to him and say, there's still enough strength in you to fight whatever the hell they've done to you.
He's already.
You can beat them.
He's already shaking.
And I'm using impart ideal.
I
want to use impart ideal to make him believe that he can basically, like, he has the power to win this. It specifically affects beliefs. So if he was like feeling overpowered, like he couldn't fight back.
Okay. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually not gonna make you roll for this. I'm just gonna let it happen. But I am going to trade it. The trade-off is that I'm going to just give you a GM intrusion.
Okay.
I am taking your choice away as far as the GM intrusion, but I will still give you XP. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So go as the same as usual. 2, take 1 for you and 1 for somebody else.
I'm going to. I'll give 1 to Mason.
Okay. So, you can feel that ideal taking hold, but you can also feel an incredible resistance to it. You can feel something in him that is fighting it. You can also feel something in him that isn't.
Yeah.
As you're pushing, you see him, he abruptly stands up and begins just sort of pacing the room like a caged animal, just restless and intense. And he turns to you and he says, "Look, I came here because I needed to find you and your friends.
Is that really why you came here?
I came here to find you." He says, "You can
Well, what are you gonna? Oh, go.
look. You can just come with me. Come with me, and I'll tell them. I'll tell them that. I don't know. I'll tell them that you cooperated, and that you came willingly. They'll watch you for a while, but eventually you'll be like me, and we can do this together."
Vix, take a look at yourself. You're not doing so hot.
You can see his composure breaking down. He is completely like that mask of just sort of impassivity is starting to break down, and you're starting to see that kind of like wild and manic look start to come into his face as he just sort of shakes and says, no, I'm here to bring you in.
And I'm here to bring you in to the fold. No, that's a little cheesy. Sorry.
They're gonna find you. They're gonna find them. They're gonna find everybody, and they're gonna take them. The only thing that you can do is come with me. It's the only way.
Are you sure that you wouldn't know of another way that we can get out of this?
And he just puts his hands to the side of his face, and he drops down onto his knees, and he's just.
Hey, Vix.
He just sort of looks up at you and kind of blinks at you and just says, "No." And as he his eyes just squeeze shut as he screws up his entire face, and almost as if against pain, even bringing up his bald fists, white knuckled, just under his chin as he's pulling everything in towards his center. And he looks up at you, and you can see as he kind of blinks up at you, it's like he's not even seeing you. And he just looks up and just says, "Belle, I can't." And then his eyes close again, and he just collapses to the floor, and then you see as he just vanishes. He's not there anymore.
Okay. I am immediately exiting the dream space and kind of opening my eyes.
He's still there, still unconscious.
Okay. Man, I wish you weren't so heavy. Can I lift him?
It's tough. You kind of reach for his arm, trying to kind of pull him up and to support him, and you stumble sideways into the railing on the platform. You just sort of stumble sideways, like you bruised a rib when you did that, as the full weight of him and you slam into the railing. As you struggle there for a second, and as you're pushing yourself up the railing, you sort of feel some of that weight lifting. And you look over, and you can actually see, you look directly into the bulbous eyes of one of the caretakers that has just sort of approached and has just has just lifted him and is currently supporting him and is just watching you. And you can see with the kind of the clicking of mandibles as they just sort of head tilt. They're not moving him, they're just holding him.
Can you let him? We kind of are in a rush.
You just hear that sort of whirring and clicking sound.
Is it just one of them?
Yep. You can see others that have sort of at this point, several of them have turned and looked, and that
they're just standing there and holding him.
Yep.
Lifted it off you because he lifted him off because he fell on you.
Yeah. I wouldn't suppose you want to help me carry him out of here?
You can see there's a bit of scuttling motion as they move somewhat to the side, almost crab-like to the side, and then back into position. And then their head turns and looks in the direction that you came.
You mean to go back the way I came?
There's a series of of mandible clicks and a very soft like whistling, like almost like a soft whistling and kind of combined with sort of like a whirring sound.
Do they seem like they're like friendly, or like they're like, get the hell out of here? This is not
You don't
a space
feel threatened
for
at
you.
all.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
The caretakers are cool as fuck, you guys. They have like robes on, right? They're like,
Yeah, kind
Or
of.
they,
Yeah.
or are they
Something
naked?
It's
well,
more
I
like
mean,
just-
like they wear like draped.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering that correctly, like draped fabric.
Mhm.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
So they're just holding him there.
Yeah, it's sort of more like they grabbed him and are now supporting him on the other side, but then basically took all of the weight off of you.
Okay. If I start walking kind of towards the exit, do they follow with him,
Yeah.
or do they just stand
you
there
start
with him?
you start kind of cautiously walking away, and they turn kind of to their body to follow you, like their body like tracks your movement, and then as you get a few steps away, they just start bringing him up along behind you.
Oh. Thank you. That's really, really helpful of you guys.
All the other heads that turned in your direction turned back to immediately to what they were doing.
Okay. I'm Peach, by the way. Nice to meet you guys. This is my brother Vix. He is a real troublemaker. He's caused a lot of trouble for us. Yeah, and I'm just gonna kind of talk to them as we're leaving. And as we're leaving, is does Vix have any kind of communication on him? Like, does he have any way that he would be contacting Silverbreak?
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because as you're moving, you are proceeding through along the catwalks. You make it to the tunnel, and as you make it back to the tunnel, still with the caretaker in tow, holding Vix up, kind of supporting him, like kind of basically like fireman carrying almost over one shoulder, following you. You hear just sort of like a crackling sound of communications, and you just hear, all units be advised, unidentified transport entering the vicinity. And then you just hear, oh my god. And you just hear, report. I can't believe it. That's the Silver Fall. And then there's a beat of silence as you just hear there's suddenly chatter. You can hear a bunch of chatter, and over the comms, coming in over the comms, and you hear, all right, all units prepare barricade, stop that ship. And you say, I want Ellis in custody now. And as you hear a series of acknowledgments coming over the comms, and suddenly you hear Lieutenant, he's coming, and then you just feel this boom, this sort of shudder that even in here in the middle of this asteroid, you can feel the vibration, like the rocking sound, as even there are chunks of the top of the asteroid that come loose and fall past the entrance to the tunnel that you just entered. You can hear that a low thrumming sound coming from the caretaker, who glances back in what is very unmistakably, in spite of their very alien reactions, very unmistakably concerned. And then they turn back around and look at you, and one of the arms that is not currently holding Vix up just kind of settles on your shoulder and gently pushes you towards in the direction of the tunnel.
Okay, well, let's go stop whatever that explosion was, or maybe help whatever that explosion was, depending on who started it.
You proceed down the tunnel, now kind of at a faster pace, with the caretaker in tow.
I don't even know who I'm talking to.
We're going to cut, at the last, we're going to have to cut as Bina, our very last scene of the night, Bina, as you are rushing, you come up at the entrance to where Abriel was supposed to come in, and you look across the street, and you're looking around with your good eyesight. You can very clearly see Abriel in a building across from you, who is just kind of sitting there in the window and like glancing out at the street. Sorry, this is not. And she's looking around. As basically you immediately see the problem. From your vantage point, you can immediately see the problem. It's not that they've been caught. It's not that they have been found or that they're even suspected of being there. It's that she has no way of bringing her group across the street without tipping off a bunch of other people, because she cannot see when they are looking and when they're not from where she is.
Okay.
So.
I can help with that.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Okay, we can only text right now, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna inform her of where I am, or at least that I have eyes on her.
Okay.
I want to confirm the problem is that they can't see. And then I will basically direct traffic
Okay.
from here. If Abriel wants to stay on the other side with her terminal, and I can give them the go-ahead of
Sure.
when they can move across in small amounts.
You see
Or
her.
I don't think they can get across all at once very quickly, but that's what I want to communicate
You
with
watch her receive the message as she looks down and then looks around and then spots you, and she nods, and she responds, says, "Tell me when." And she you can see as she turns to start talking to people behind her.
her. So I want to watch the people who are around
Mhm.
for a hot second, kind of get a feel for how regularly they're moving through here.
Okay.
And then I will use eyesight. I'm looking at them to gauge them, and I also want to kind of put feelers out to kind of see. I don't know if I can see attention, but if making sure that everyone's still level at the very least.
Tell you what,
that
I'm
there's
not going to make you
a
roll for this
panic.
because I know that you have stuff that's going to make it moot. So
Okay.
for the sake of this, what we're going to say is that you spend some time and in heart-stoppingly tense intervals, gradually, just 2 or 3 of them at a time, they start coming over and entering the maintenance tunnel behind you. The final group comes over as Abriel just sort of herding them from behind, just sort of looking, turning from side to side as they're rushing across the street. You feel a surge of attention, with your basic thoughts. You feel that somebody has noted, and as you glance around, you see what you missed, which is that there was a person. There was one of the security patrols that was just kind of standing just around the corner of the building that they were hiding in. Turns around the corner, glances over, and sees.
How many of my people are in the middle of the street?
Nobody. Right now, it's just Abriel and 2 other people. One of them is Solar.
Okay, but can I give both of them blend in? Can I pass that to them? I'll spend for it.
Sure. Go ahead. We'll just.
Are they what drew this guy's attention? Is that what I'm figuring?
That's what
here?
they're seeing now. Yes.
Okay.
I
want to give them blend in.
Okay.
No
Sounds good.
importance.
All right.
They are of little importance to these people.
Yeah.
Blend in is a 4 spend.
I'd say
I believe.
I'll tack on an additional 2 to that.
So 6 spend total.
Yeah.
And my edge eats some, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you.
And I want them to I want them across quietly.
Yeah. You reach out
No
and
importance.
you watch as they don't notice that you have moved at all until they're almost on top of you. And Solar is the first one to notice, and she almost stops to instinctively to look around, and
I think she's got one hand out, stretching with one hand, and her other 2 are
Yeah.
Can I keep moving?
As you turn to look, you can see the security guard who is moving, kind of towards you, and just
I'm
sort of-
pushing everyone else.
Yeah, he's
further back.
looking
So
he's,
he only sees these 2.
yeah, he's trying really hard to see them. It's almost comical if it wasn't so tense, because they're right in the middle of the street, and he knows he saw something, but he's trying like hell right now to try to figure out what it was. He's like staring, eyes sweeping over them, like he knows.
No importance. We are of no importance.
He's looking.
In his mind, we are of no importance.
They're not the
And at this
droids.
moment, you hear as he steps forward, he kind of almost draws up level with where Abriel and Silar are as they are continuing to slowly cross the street, trying not to panic. He walks just past them, like within feet of them, as he's standing there, and you can hear the sudden. And he holds up, looks at his radio, and he like clicks it. You can see his comm. He clicks it, and you hear the sound of like, oh my god. That's the Silver Fall. Just all units intercept that ship. I want Ellis in custody. And you see as he turns to like call, he opens his mouth to call down the street, and at that moment you feel a shudder run through the asteroid itself, and you feel it.
Can I once, like 10 seconds ago, what was this person's reaction to "I want Ellis in custody"? Is that like they know this is great, or is that like shocking to
Nope,
him in any way?
not shocking at all.
Okay, cool.
And at that moment, as you feel that boom, you and Silar and Abriel manage to rush back down inside the maintenance tunnel as the guard goes rushing off in the direction he came. And as you're doing this, you hear that beep once again as you look down at your terminal, and you see a message from Wyre.
Okay.
That message is, it takes you a moment to fully comprehend what you're reading, but what she says in the message is, Ellis's ship is here. Its core is about to overload.
Oh, fuck.
And that's where we're going to pick up next week.
Yeah, it sure is.
I don't like that. Okay, it's okay. We'll figure it out.
How do you get fucking Bina in a ship that's not ours?
Okay. Well, first of all, we were kind of in the middle of this when it happened, but thank you so much for the raid, Chandra.
Thanks for the raid.
Thank you so much for everybody who stuck around after the raid. I hope you had a good night streaming. Whew.
I think we had a good night streaming.
We are well past our time, so we are gonna go. But before we do, I just want to take a moment to say that, well, this has been part 1 of our season finale, and we will pick up with the next part next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we'll see how this all plays out. After Infinite Horizon Season 1 goes, we are having a short run Tales from the Loop game that Caitlin is running. It's going to be very exciting.
Woo!
We'll be rolling out cast announcements and date announcements very soon, so be on the lookout
Again,
for
all of
those.
you people who just got gift subs, get in the Discord, because
Yeah.
then you get to see who the cast is a week early.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
And there's some pretty exciting cast members.
I'm excited. I'm very excited, not just for the show, but also for the announcements. It's going to be great. I'm so pumped. All right. But yes, John put the link for the Discord server there. So if you are not on our Discord and you're interested, please join. It's also a great way to stay in touch with what's going on here at Rule of Lore, live announcements, programming announcements, and just general good feels, hanging out and chatting about stuff. Before we go, however, I have a very important announcement, and that is that it is our mod Geek Out's birthday today.
Oh,
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Geek Outs! I hope
birthday.
it was excellent.
Virgo hero.
Yeah.
We love.
So yeah, everybody send Geek Outs some birthday love if you haven't already. And I think for that, after that, we're gonna go. A reminder:
Yeah.
if any of you who had no idea what was going on and tuned in for the first or possibly second time today, want to know more, there is a quick start guide, like a quick document that John has linked and can probably do again. That'll give you a sort of some basic context to all of this. And
Buzzwords, vocab.
yeah, buzzwords, vocab, important
Some
characters,
alien races.
yeah. All that sort of stuff.
Good stuff.
But if you actually want to watch from the beginning and find out for yourself, we have a YouTube channel and there is a podcast, so you can check those both out.
Almost every available platform.
Exactly. So those will also be linked in the chat here in a second, and so you can just go there, give us a follow on those places, and yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We're gonna go because it is
Good night.
late and very late for some of us. So, good night and good zone, everybody. We will see you next time for the actual part
Oh my
2 of
God.
the
Season
season finale. I
finale.
know,
The
it's
finale.
Wild.
Maybe if we act really dumb, we can make it a 3-parter.
I see you, Freeman. You were totally prepared. You were just stalling so that we could stretch it out. I understand.
Right. Good night.
All right, everybody. Good night. And Heart of Handprints, as a result, or as a response to that, we haven't updated it, but it is being updated. We are going to be updating the quick start guide. That's literally the thing we talked about in Writer's Room today. So that will be happening. All right. Good night and good zone, everybody. We'll see you next time. Hopefully, we'll see you Friday for Ramblemancy or Saturday for Borderlands. But if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us.